And welcome back, folks. So we'll take it from here with Joe and Don. My name's Joe.
And I'm Don.
And you're listening to a podcast where two dudes run a talk style show podcast in which our goal is to make you think and entertain you mostly. We usually have some guests, of which we have one today. But before we get to our guest, Don, can you please tell our viewers where they can find us?
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to show 52. You can follow us on Instagram at We'll Take It From Here Podcast. You can follow me at Don Shoemaker Jr. Joe is at Joe Francesco 48. And guys, we do a question and answer segment every week on the show, which has been a lot of fun. So make sure you get in those questions to us. We usually put out a clip on Instagram asking to send in some questions, and you can submit them on there, and we'll answer them live here on the show. So that's a lot of fun, and keep it up with the reviews and the ratings. Appreciate you guys for doing that. That's awesome. Those are going up every week.
Yeah, we're like at 30 ratings, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we're like 4.8, which is really cool on Spotify. So if you're listening on Apple, I don't know if there's any on there. So if you're listening on Apple, do us a favor, give us a review, give us a share, and that helps us grow the show and get our message out there. So got an exciting 2023 coming up for you guys. A lot of things in the works, a lot of things planned, and we're really excited and appreciate all your support here over the past almost a year.
Dude, it's episode 52 today, but it's technically not a year because the year mark will be in a couple weeks.
Right.
But it's still fucking sick, dude.
It's really cool. So, yeah, man, just happy to be here.
Yeah, dude, I also want to do a big shout out and welcome to Sweden. I know we do a little things sometimes where we have countries from across the globe, and definitely Sweden, you're the most recent one. The Scandinavians love us, baby. Hopefully you're a hot Swedish chick, and if you want to come to America.
I'll go there.
Yeah, it's fine. Sweden,
on our way. But we also are on YouTube now, guys, so every show just about is up there. I got about 5 shows left to do that were all older shows, but our most recent shows, past 2 are on there. The one that's dropping this week when you hear, or this week, how does it work?
Yeah, so tomorrow, so this week is episode 52, but tomorrow's episode is going to be 51 from last week.
Right.
We're a week in advance.
Exactly.
Or behind.
But yeah, if you guys want to watch the show, we are on YouTube, so give us a follow at We'll Take It From Here. And subscribe, like, and that whole jazz. But
fuck yeah, baby.
Other than that, welcome back to the show, Matt Ciecwicz.
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Hey, we're doing fine, man. Thank you for having me back.
It's an honor to be back.
Fuck yeah, dude. This is a long time coming. I think after the first episode, we were like, dude, we're going to get you back on. And then it just, everyone had their stuff.
Yeah. Schedules get busy and stuff like that.
You guys been busy. I mean, you guys been rapidly going on social media and doing all these podcasts and stuff. It's amazing.
Appreciate it, man.
The growth that you guys have had so
been
far.
trying.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's a lot. It's a lot of fun. We've gone through. It's almost like a transformation stage. Where I mean, the last time you were here, so for those of you who don't know, Matt Ciecwicz was on episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
So that was damn, bro. You said it. You were talking about
that was in. I think it was in April. I think it was during Easter or something.
Or like before. Yeah, because it was Lent and you couldn't drink.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
Now I can.
And now you can. So let's do a little cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for bringing me.
Cheers,
guys.
Awesome. Fuck yeah. But dude, like as I was saying, the transformation, I mean, that the show has had with you on it, we had it. You were talking into a phone, dude, and now you're talking.
Yeah, we had to pause it
to
do another segment or something.
You remember, dude. You remember.
Yep. Yeah, bro. We had a phone, one chair that was half broken, and one chair with a couple of pillows on it.
Now look at you guys. I mean, just keep growing.
Dude, those chairs. Oh, I'm looking at them right now. One is still broken. The other one's perfect, and the other chair is upstairs.
Hey, it's awesome, man. Humble beginnings. You
Absolutely.
Always be able to look back at a story like that and see where you got.
You guys never rushed anything either. You never rushed to get to the top.
No.
And that was the best thing about it, to watch that growth going up.
Hell yeah, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, appreciate that, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We felt like it was like I don't even know if we even planned it, but we just said that we got to start, right? We mentioned on the show. So we just started, and he said, all right, we're going to go from here, buy the mics, and now buy the setup. So yeah. Fuck it, why not?
No, so that's cool to hear. I appreciate it, though.
No, absolutely.
We've had a lot of fun conversations in the past, 50 episodes since we had you on or something, so.
Yeah. And which means this one's going to be even more fun.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
A lot.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, man.
So, what you been up to, man? How's everything going?
Everything's been going good. Like I said, I got an exciting 2023 coming. My fiance and I are about to move in and stuff.
Congrats,
and, everything's going really well. About to go into the National Guard. So that's going to be an exciting.
Are you really?
Yeah, I kept that on the down low a little bit, but I want to.
Well, it's out there now.
I know it's out there now. Oh, in Sweden, you know, they know now.
Well, Mac is back in.
I know, yeah. So it's good. You know, I'm trying to go back in and continue my education. I just signed up for one last class, and for me, this is a big experience. I'm getting my associate's degree. And I would have never thought in a million years would I be in that situation of, you know, almost getting my associate's degree. By March, I should have it.
Good.
So it's been going really well. I never would have thought that education was like my bread and butter. You know, once I went to college, it was like, whoa, you know, this is amazing. And you know, it was some ups and downs in college and trying to figure out what to do and how to do it because I never, you know, I took that 4-year break after the military. So, you know, it's really interesting to expand your knowledge in a lot of different activities. And I'm taking a marriage class right now. And I was skeptical getting into it because
I didn't even know they offered that.
Yeah, it's an elective, and I got into it, but I wanted to learn about marriage and family. That's what I'm getting into. I'm getting married, and I want to learn, you know, start a family and stuff. So I wanted to know kind of the foundation of how to build that up. You know, they really neglected that part, and they were more concentrated. You know, we'll get into this. They were more concentrated on same-sex marriage. They were pushing on LGBT stuff. So I wasn't really learning about, you know, partnership and how to build a foundation with your partner. It was mostly trying to get into this LGBT stuff, and you could see they were pushing that a little bit.
Shit.
And we had discussions in, you know, I go to Thomas Edison State University, so everything is online. You don't go in the class. I don't think I could go into the class.
Yeah.
You know, but everything, the discussions was more, you know, just LGBT. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it, but I wanted to learn about partnership and how to build a family. And they just neglected that. And they were trying to force it upon me that we got to accept this, we have to accept this. It's like, yeah, you accept it, but now how do you, you know, now that it's accepted, how do you build with that, you know? And they didn't really do that. So I'm kind of happy that we're wrapping that portion of that.
Oh, I don't mean, like you said, like it doesn't, like, who cares if you're LGBT, like who cares, but it's like, don't push it, like, especially when the class, and I'm pretty sure, did this class like set it up that you were going to be learning about the like, you know, marriage and all that
I
shit?
read it as so they didn't use the word, you know, husband and wife. They used partners. And so I knew right off the bat it was going to expand the knowledge on that, which I didn't care. I wanted to know how to grow a family with your significant other. That's all I wanted to learn. And that's basically what everything was said, you know, in the beginning. I was like, this is going to be great. And then I started getting into it, and they attached articles and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is something else.
Like, don't force it down your throat. Dude, you're here for a reason. You know what I mean?
And that's what I wanted to learn. And I would tend to, you know, move towards, hey, I just want to learn this, I want to learn that. And you could see people kind of fight back, like, you have to learn this first before you. It's like, no, I don't have to learn that. I don't have to learn what. Exactly. It was like, I don't have to learn that kind of stuff. I want to learn how to, like I said, build a family with my, you know, my significant other. And
I was just having a conversation with my buddies today. We were talking about that. And it's like, dude, I don't care what you do. Like, do whatever you want. It's your life.
Yeah.
But like, don't push that shit on me.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing my shit on you.
Exactly. And like, and to your point, like, do whatever you want. You could have gays, lesbians, transgenders who are trying to learn how to start a family too. Like, teach everyone how to start a family. Don't fucking push an agenda down and say, hey, get the fuck.
Yeah, why are they assuming that they want to learn one way?
Exactly.
I did a paper and I started to put in religion. And oh my God, the feedback that I got back was, you know, religion's not everything. And my upbringing, I said, you know, religion was everything, whether you're Catholic, Christianity, Jewish, or something. You had to have that foundation to build a family and stuff. And they just started to swipe that out. They wanted nothing to do, you know, don't talk about that, or
don't talk about religion.
Yeah, almost like to that point of, you know, we're gonna, you know, okay, I get what you're saying, but that's not really the point. I was like, well, this is the point of it. You asked me a question. I'm going to tell you this is how in my opinion, it is. But we don't really care about your opinion on it. But then I got to sit here and listen to everybody else and get the feedback on that. And I got to think of a way not to sound like an asshole as I'm talking to these people.
No, sound like an asshole.
Yeah, you know.
And I couldn't last 2 hours in fucking.
That's what I said. I said I'm behind. I'm not trying to say like I'm a keyboard warrior or I'm you know, I can't confront you in person. But I'm glad I'm behind a screen because I can take that deep breath,
Yeah.
you know, or walk away or something. Because if I was in a classroom, you know, I would have been like, all right, all bets are off, you know, gloves off, let's go. You know, we're taking it outside, we're going in the back, you know, like
we'll take it from here.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll take it from here.
Yo, dude, you know what you should have done? You should have just started trolling the professor. You should have just like, if you had like a way to like go in, you should have been like, hey, can we get to the point where you're gonna tell me how much I'm gonna have sex?
Yeah,
You know? Like,
yeah, really.
just start
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
trolling.
That's what I would do. Just start fucking with them.
I know.
Dude,
But I'm
just
glad I'm wrapping it up and stuff.
Fun,
yeah,
right.
but the trolling part, and I was tempted to like dive deeper into it and really start, hey, you know, asking questions and really starting to get the fire going. But I didn't really have time to do that. I just wanted to get, like I said, I wanted to get with that class and be done with it.
Yeah.
So these were just credits.
Yeah,
credits
they
you
were
had
just
to get.
they were just, it was an elective. It was credits I had to get. So just, you know, like my father would say, just do it, get it done, and then it's behind you. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like at the point where I'm like, well, I'm trying to learn something. He goes, well, you know, follow your religion again, you know, and follow other, you know, read books and stuff. But that really hurt me in a sense of like, when you go to college, you're supposed to expand your knowledge, not narrow it into one group of people and say, okay, this is what you're going to learn. This is how you're going to learn.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be argumentative. You're supposed to argue it. You're supposed to say, all right, here's this, here's that, here's X, Y, and Z. And it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It was just that one class. And then I had an American government class I'm in now, and that's a different story. I mean, we're talking about national security, the package that each president gives out, you know, who is it better and what's not. And, you know, with the facts that I've seen in the past 3 presidents, you know, I'm not being biased, but Trump did have the best, you know, national security strategy. It was just there, and
Facts are facts.
you know, it is facts are facts, exactly.
Take emotion out of it, man.
And I didn't.
What's it say on paper?
And I went into it and I said, well, okay, you know, Obama had this. This was good. You know, he had, you know, Obama had 3 points. You know, Bush had 5 points, but Trump had 10 points, and Biden, he didn't even submit it. You know, so it was, you know, it was in that sense. You know, the guy.
That motherfucker's still eating some ice cream.
Yeah, really.
Huh?
I don't even know what's going on.
I don't know, Jack. I ain't submitting anything. Fucking guy.
You know, but it was the facts were there. And when I was reading a lot of these packets, the national security packets, you know, it's not just necessarily security; it's also about economy, growing, you know, and the stuff that was said in there wasn't what they delivered, and what Trump had said is what he delivered, and people got mad about that. I guess when you do your job, people get mad, and I started to see that in the civilian world. If you do your job, people get mad. You know, and
do your job, people get mad.
It's just weird, you know, and I'm in a leadership class, and I talked about doing your job, and people are like, yeah, when you get, you know, how should you be praised? If you're a leader, how should you praise somebody? And I go, well, if you're doing your job, I don't feel like you should be praised at all. If you're doing your job, you should be praised. If you go above and beyond, I'll give you some recognition.
Absolutely.
But today is people do their job and show up on time. They're like, hey, you got a star.
Yeah.
It's like, for what? Well, you're doing your job. Well, that's what you pay me for.
You're supposed to show up.
You know, exactly.
Bro,
You're supposed to do that.
Some people don't even do their fucking job, man. Some people really just fucking coast and then like
slip through the cracks.
Yeah, slip through the cracks and fucking reap the benefits of other people's hard work. Dude.
I started to really evaluate that, and it brought me back to when we were working together for Amazon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I really started to think about it. I'm like,
I sold my percentage, by the way.
I'm
not working there anymore.
But I just did my job, and I went a little bit above and beyond helping out people. But that's just, you know, my character. I like to help out. All I did was do my job, and my boss, his supervisor at the time, was like, "Hey, man, you're a great guy. You know, you want to come and be a supervisor?" And I'm like, "Sure, I guess. You know, let me get the experience. But you know, what did I do that doesn't, you know, that because I see other people doing the same thing."
Yeah.
And I guess it literally was I just did my job. And then when I got into that supervisor's position, I really started to see and realize a lot of other things. And I started knocking heads with him and stuff. And you know, he didn't really care about other people. But that's literally what it was. Just doing your job, basically.
Well, essentially what he was telling you is that everyone else, and of course, I'm not talking about you because I know you do hard work, but like everyone else there was probably just coasting, dude. Like literally simply doing your job.
And
I was coasting. I hated that fucking job.
I love the honesty, dude. Hey, man, you're wrong.
I'll just shoot you straight, man.
Hey, there you go.
I was like, you fuckers are sending me to Sparta? Like,
yeah, yo, that's
fuck you guys.
In the middle of winter time, the roads aren't even plowed. I'm spinning out on
Oh, man.
I fucking love that dude.
Man.
That's hilarious.
Fuck that job.
Dude, it's Sparta, dude.
I'll never forget that one time I was in Oak Ridge all
That
the way up.
sucked.
And this poor
Funny times, though, man.
this
Holy
poor girl,
shit.
she calls me up and she's like, I'm stuck. I go, oh, she's probably stuck in the snow, no big deal. And she's like, no, I'm really stuck. I'm like, you can't move it. She's like, no, I'm like really stuck. She kept emphasizing how stuck she was. And I'm like, all right, I'll have to go out there and help her out. And I get up there and the car is sideways in the driveway.
Oh, you told me about this.
And I'm
yeah.
going, and I like, I took a deep breath, and I was kind of like, you know, you ever look at something and go, just like, how the fuck, you can't make this up?
How is this possible?
You know, did you pick it up with your hand and turn it? Like, there's no sense, there was absolutely no way that you could have done this on your own.
Yeah.
And, I mean, obviously I didn't say that to her. I wanted to make sure she was okay, and she was fine and stuff, but because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, how the hell are we going to get this out? I don't even know how you got it in, but how are we going to get it out? And I called the tow truck guy. And at this time, it's just me and her outside, and we're trying to figure it out. And I called the tow truck. The tow truck's not going to be another 2 hours. But as I'm talking to this girl, I'm inside the van with her because it was really cold. I'm trying to, you know, call people up and stuff. And I hear like people banging out. I'm like, oh God, the owners see the damage because she took out like a railroad tie. I guess she must have backed out and just slid and just went full force into this railroad tie, and it must have knocked out the van. But
it was like a tight driveway or something.
It was, again, it was something where you just looked at it and went, oh man, Biden must have been driving this thing. There's no way that this thing could have done it, you know.
It's like that Austin Powers movie where he's like,
it was literally like that. How did you
back
get
and forth in the golf cart in the hallway? It's like, how did you get that way?
Yep.
So the owners come out and they're screaming and yelling, and I'm like, I gotta calm them down. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, we can compensate you for everything, all the damage and stuff. We'll talk with my insurance company. We'll get everything figured out. And he finally had calmed down and whatnot. But the tow truck guy shows up. He's like, oh, you know, he's kind of like, he was like, hey, what's going? What's how are we? I'm like, this is your job, man. I had the same reaction, but I'm so glad this is not my job. And we ended up knocking some trees down to get the van out. And the vans we had to knock some trees down. Like the guy came out and like had a chainsaw. He knocked some trees down so we can actually get into the maneuver the Jeep or the truck out and like kind of pull it out a little bit and then pull it like up more onto the driveway and stuff. Oh yeah, it was.
This sounds like a fucking
terrible
movie. This sounds like the Austin Powers that you're saying.
And then like I got my boss on the line. He's going, hey, how are the packages? I don't know about all this. There's one man. I don't know if she's gonna make it right now,
But we cut some trees down, boss. And
yeah, I was like, hey, we cut some trees down.
Those were impossible standards, man.
Oh, they were insane.
I told you about the time I got stuck, right?
I think on somebody's driveway or something.
I think you told this on the show.
I think we did.
Yeah,
I think
episode
I did
4.
On the show. Yeah.
I got a funny story to tell you on it. But go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I'm delivering my packages. I think it was close to the holidays. It was like close to Christmas last year. Was it last year?
I think it was 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
It's been 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Time flies.
They always said don't go up long driveways. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. You know, I know how to drive.
I'm from the Meadows. I got to figure it out. Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. There's probably an inch or two of snow on the ground, but I'm like, the driveway's it's pretty straight. I gotta deliver this package because I'm always like,
I know your mindset too. I can picture you in the van itself too.
Yeah, man.
You know, everything going on, saying I can read this. You know.
So I'm doing a I'm doing a little recon. I'm like, all right, you know, I stopped at the end of the driveway. It's straight. Should be no problem. Go right in, back right out, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I got to deliver every single package because I'm the fucking best. I don't come back with any packages.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not coming back with packages, right?
Yeah. Not even coming back at all.
So, I'm going up, and I'm like, fucking send it. You know, fucking pedal to the metal, right? And all of a sudden, dude, I'm flooring it, man. I'm flying, right? And all of a sudden,
tires screeching, ice on there, rubber burning.
Dude, fucking a turn like this comes up, and I'm like, oh fuck! Like I'm going too fast to stop right now, so I gotta drift into this turn. Oh, I drifted into that turn, man. I drifted all the way into the turn, off the driveway, and I got stuck like a bitch, man. And I couldn't get out.
We take same day delivery seriously.
Yeah. You delivered this at 9 o'clock.
You ordered it at 9.
It's 8 a.m., baby. I'm coming.
Oh yeah.
So then, you know, I hate this job, so I'm like, whatever. I'm just put my feet up, hang out, have a good time. I got my book with me. I got my lunch, whatever. This old guy comes down. He's the owner of the property. He's like, oh, no, don't worry. He's like, just put it in low gear or something. We're going to try to get you out. I'm like, no, sir. I don't want you to hurt yourself. Tow truck's coming. Should be here within the next couple of hours. I'm thinking to put my feet up, have a good time. I'm like, I don't give a shit about the packages anymore. Somebody come get them, whatever. And he's like, oh, no, I got some wood. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. So he gets some wood, and we're trying it under the tires. It's not working. He goes back up to his house. He gets the coals from like a pellet stove or like a wood stove.
Okay.
The ashes.
The ashes, yeah.
And he goes, let's try this. And at this point, I'm like, there's no way this is gonna work, right? And he puts the ashes under the tires and a couple of boards. And sure as shit, I got right out.
Wow.
And got the truck out and everything.
Yeah, no reading or lunch for you on that.
Yeah,
side.
I was like, God damn. I'm like, no.
Seems like you weren't the first Amazon truck to be in that guy's driveway.
Right, but the lesson from that, and I think I shared this on the show, was that he was like, if there's a will, there's a way. And he's like, I got a lot of will right now. And this gentleman was a really nice guy. And
hindsight, he just wanted you to fuck up the property.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
He's like, "Gonna fuck up my property."
Right. And that kind of, looking back, that taught me there's always a solution. Don't give up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even at the time, I was like, nah, man, I just want to chill.
Yeah.
I think I delivered all the packages that day.
Hey, man, that's all that counts, bro. You fucking deliver your packages. That's all you got to do,
Those long driveways were a pain in the ass. I remember walking up them at night, and I remember I had the white bag. They told us to put the packages in a white garbage bag to wrap it up and put it. And I was like, I'm going to be a little extra. I'm going to go all the way to the top and leave it for the people. I didn't want to put it down at the bottom. As I'm walking up, I had slipped on ice, slammed so hard on my ass, and just accepted my fate as this is it. It's 9 o'clock at night. I'm delivering Amazon, and I'm making $20 an hour. Might as well. So I literally just grabbed onto the package, and I had that shit. Simon and Garfunkel, "Hello, darkness," and I just laid on my back and just slid down back to the bottom. I'm like, "You're gonna get your package at the." I tried, but this is not worth going up your driveway.
There was this fucking house that I would recognize the address after a little while because we delivered to the same area. And this fucking house, it was in Sparta, and it was at the end of this road. You had to back down this road because you're in the box. I was in the box truck at this point. Those box trucks, pain in the ass, right?
Oh, step vans.
Yeah. And at the bottom, they said, "Please do not leave package here." And there was like an angry message on like a Post-it note. Every single time, I wanted to be like, "Well, fuck you," and leave it right there. But I never did because I was always like, "All right, I'm gonna do the right thing." Whatever. I still wanted the job at that point. But it was a pain in the ass because it was like steep steps that you had to climb up, and it was just. I remember that being such a like, really, you can't you're walking up your steps. Why can't I leave it here?
Yeah, really.
Dude, fucking I remember sometimes, dude. So I bought a gun safe from Amazon.
Oh, okay.
And it came absolutely destroyed. I don't think that was Amazon's fault. I definitely think that was just the fucking shipper or the fucking actual company. So maybe it was Amazon. I'm not sure. But I just remember being like, it's like, "Oh, Joe, your package fucking arrived." So I'm like, awesome. Like I know exactly where the fuck are they.
Who delivered this?
Yeah, who delivered? I literally go. I was like, I can't fucking use this. No, literally, the whole fucking door was off. Yeah, it was off, dude.
Oh my god,
unfixable.
A gun safe.
Fucking these people must have literally been like, "God dang, conservative," just fucking destroyed it, dude. That's all I was thinking. But
grenade.
No, legitimately.
Show this guy.
Yeah, they're just like,
fuck
"Hey,
your Second
Steve."
Amendment right.
Yeah. "Hey, Steve, look, this thing's so good, I can put a grenade in it." Oh fuck. No, literally.
He opens this door. He's gonna see there, boy.
Dude, I literally fucking went, and I'm like, "Dude, where the fuck is my package?" Because we have a specific area for the package.
Right.
And I'm like, "Dude, where the fuck is this package?" And I go to the very front of the fucking apartment door, like where you walk into the lobby, and of course, there's sure shit the fucking thing standing there. The fucking person, granted, I get it. It was very fucking heavy. But I'm like, "Dude, your dumbass couldn't walk another fucking 200 feet with this thing." And then I lifted up. I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I saw everything. I was like, "Oh, dude, this thing's fucked." Like, literally, I saw it from the outside. Like, fucking thing's busted. Oh, dude, and I was like, I called the company. I was like, "You're refunding me." They're like, "Okay, sorry."
Yeah. Dude, we used to, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. Just go ahead.
We had gone. What we were talking about?
Amazon and all that shit.
I think I had another story coming, but I forget what it was.
All right, so I'm in Sparta, right? Again, fucking Sparta, right? It's snowing.
Got it.
And these step vans, the big box trucks, they're horrible in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're horrible on pavement. They're literally horrible.
Actually,
on pavement.
I got two stories really funny.
They're literally horrible.
They're just horrible.
Yeah, they're horrible, man. So I'm driving, and they're all one-lane roads in Sparta there, around Lake Mohawk.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And none of these motherfuckers, if you're listening to Sparta, I hate you, okay? Stop listening to my show. None of them have the...
Sweden is like, no Sparta, New Jersey.
Listen, none of them have the house numbers on the house.
Oh, yeah.
And it's snowing, and it's dark, and I can't see your house number, so I don't know which house I'm delivering to. And the GPS doesn't always work on the phone that they give you. So I parked the car. I parked the van, right? There's nowhere to pull over.
Mm-hmm.
So I just parked in the middle of the road, right?
Yeah.
And I'm walking around trying to find the house number, and I'm getting pissed off at this point. I'm about to throw this fucking thing.
I did the same thing. I had, yeah.
And all of a sudden I start hearing a horn. I'm like, are you fucking...
I know exactly where you're at.
Are you kidding me? And she's like, get out of the road! I'm trying to get home. I'm like, I can't find the house. You think you can fucking help me, lady?
I'm like,
where's
looking like Biden in the White House?
I'm like, where's number 12?
I see.
She's like, I used to deliver for UPS. I know it's not that hard. I'm like,
it's a UPS.
Yeah. And then she's in a Jeep, right? And I'm like, well, you're in a Jeep? Go the fuck around me. Isn't that what your Jeep's for? Oh, I'm getting livid, man. I'm getting livid. And then, so my dad goes, oh, what you should have done is pop the hood and say, yeah, I'm broke down, sorry. But I'm like, really? You're yelling at me for this? I'm like, I can't find where I'm going, man.
Dude, I hated that.
100% she was not a UPS driver.
No,
that was
because if you were, you wouldn't treat somebody like
exactly,
that.
Exactly.
I had the same scenario. I think it was probably somewhere up in Sussex County, but I see like, it was during the holiday season, I'll never forget, I see like, all right, house 12, 13, and my delivery was 15. I'm like, all right, house 12, 13, 28, 30, you know, I'm like, where the fuck? I'm like,
that's the other thing.
I'm like, oh, maybe it's on the other side or something like that. No, 108, 109, 4. I'm like, what is this going on here?
Yeah.
So now I'm doing the same thing. I'm getting frustrated during the holiday season. Got kids playing around. You know, I got Frosty the Snowman on the radio. I'm trying to get in the mood.
Kick Frosty.
But I'm like, I'm getting agitated now. I'm like, I can't find your number 15. I see 16. I see 14. But 15 is nowhere to be found. You know, and I'm counting the houses and stuff, and I got to the point where, you know, I don't work there anymore, but I got to the point where I just left it. I left it there, took a picture. I was like, package is delivered. You know, you figure it out on your own now. Because if you don't want to put numbers on your mailbox or identify yourself.
Yeah, no.
Like, why are you trying to hide?
I mean, if you're some sort of anti-government person, which we have someone down the street from our house, he's all anti-government. You can't even go past a certain point. He's got like a big signs like, don't go past this point. You know, every old UPS and. You know, right around our house, and I had, and I've seen
on the show,
and I have seen houses. I've delivered houses where like, do not go past this point. And I'm like, I need to make a U-turn. You know, I'm going past this point. I want to figure out what the hell you're doing, but
Mr. Amazon here.
Yeah, hey, what's going on? But you know, actually, going into private investigating and stuff, they have actually people who disguise themselves as Comcast. Or Xfinity or something, and sit in a bucket all the way up and watch you from your house.
Yo, that's so.
Now there has to be probable cause, you know, and all that stuff to go into it. But you'd be surprised, you know, how weird Big Brother is around you. That's watching you.
No,
you know,
but dude, like there's those fucking like. You know, there's those jokes like pigeons are not real and that pigeons like, you know, those fucking jokes. But it's like, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a robot pigeon just like, and it's like fucking.
I mean, look at AI. AI is the making people who they're really not.
Oh, did you see that? Did you see the guy who pretended to be Tom Cruise and the guy who pretended to be Morgan Freeman?
I saw Morgan Freeman. I've seen the Tom Cruise one.
Yeah,
it's insane. You don't know what these
Well, you don't know what video is real anymore.
No, you
at that
don't.
point.
Fuck.
If you can make it look that
Hell
real,
Yeah,
Bro,
it was,
you know.
But hold on a second though. I want to go into this private investigating because you used to be a private investigator, and I'm sure. I remember after the first show, we were eating dinner upstairs, and you were telling some crazy stories. So, I mean, any type of story you want to share with us, man.
we had there's tons of tons of
That's that
good
bourbon.
stories.
Press that
Yeah,
bourbon,
man.
baby. Oh, yeah. Sorry, we forgot. Last show was sponsored by Breckenridge. This one is sponsored by Bullet Bourbon.
This is actually
Appreciate you guys.
my signature drink for the wedding. So
Oh
right.
shit! A little bourbon.
actually,
booty.
Don's one of my Don's one of my groomsmen.
Yes.
Let's
Since
fucking
the-
go.
since the last
Congratulations.
show there.
Hell
So,
yeah.
and
Yeah, fuck
I'm honored. It's gonna
Want
be.
some more?
so I mean, I've grown up with Don. Last episode we had tons of stories going on.
Yeah.
Bro, there was for sure. Definitely check out that episode, folks. If you haven't, episode 8, it was a fucking banger. I know I say that a lot, but it's the truth. I don't fucking lie. Anyway,
So some private.
do you want? Yeah, fuck yeah,
so
why not? Fuck it.
I had
Do you want the
Yes,
intro?
please. Yep.
like I said, I don't. This is an honor to be back.
Tell me
here.
more.
It's mostly just
Good.
feeling like
That's a fucking
yeah,
fat ass pour, baby. Let's go.
That's
it
amazing.
feeling good to be back here. It's like home. With you
Fuck
guys.
yeah.
You know,
Oh,
you're not,
dude,
it's
yo.
not a. It's not a. You know, it's nothing. Nothing staged and nothing's preset. I don't
No,
walk
fuck
out here
that. Fuck
with
that.
a piece
bro.
of paper and go, we're going to talk about this. It's
Nope.
you know,
No,
very
no, no,
friendly.
no, no,
You know,
no.
so it's
That's
No,
the thing.
we appreciate
just
that.
to-
absolutely, yeah.
Thank you. We run this show, just like you're having a conversation at the bar.
Dude,
Mhm,
legitimately.
exactly.
No, seriously, that's what I tell everyone all the time.
Kind
Just
of our
pretend,
goal, so.
Yeah,
pretend like these mics aren't here and that we're just fucking around. That's
Yeah.
literally the goal.
Exactly. But going back to the private investigations, so I got out of the military and I went into the private investigation field, and it was interesting. I was based primarily out of South Jersey, and South Jersey's got some great characters down there. I mean, people that we had followed and stuff. And we also went into New York City and also into Pennsylvania. So we had pretty much that tri-state of Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey. But I mean, every case was completely different. The majority of the cases we did was insurance reasons and infidelity reasons, and the infidelity ones kind of spiced it up pretty good. It was, and the hardest thing about being a private investigator is balancing your emotions with the actual job itself.
Mhm.
Now I'm not saying I was seeing like a police officer. I'm not saying I'm like that where I had it, but it was mostly like, you have to capture all the evidence to bring it up to court, either to destroy a family or what to do with that evidence. Because what you collect either make or break for a family, whether it's insurance reasons, either they, were struggling or something. I think the hardest part for me was it was during COVID, and I knew that every family was struggling. Every family, if they could cheat the government and get away with it, they were going to do it.
Them. Exactly.
And I understood that. I was like, okay, but at the same time, these people, some of these people that we were following were like, driving fancy cars, living in big mansions and stuff. I'm like, all right, I want to screw you. Because your insurance also, your premium for insurance is going up because of these people that are trying to cheat the insurance companies. So at some point I was like, yeah, you really got to dive in and really capture these people. But then sometimes it was like, all right, I see this, I'm looking at the report, I'm reading everything, and I'm like, it's not so bad. It's a middle-class family. You don't really, and you would see the kids, and it was like, oh man, these parents are probably doing it for the kids. And you could see, you would follow the mom to like the grocery store to pick up the kids from school, and then to practice, and then at night, and then she goes back out to go back to the grocery store or back to Staples because the kid forgot to tell her that she had a project due. And it's hard to but you had to erase all that and say, hey, I'm here for a job, I got to get this done and whatnot. When it came to the infidelity cases, I was fully invested into it. I used to love, following that around. And majority of them really didn't have families. When they did, it was like, it's kind of sad, but the kids were growing up.
Yeah.
What's the infidelity?
Cheating scandals and stuff.
You're investigating.
Cheating
So
scandals.
somebody hires you.
Somebody hires you and says, hey, I think my wife is,
shit,
banging
you do
another
that?
guy
You
or
do
something,
this?
or in some case, banging another girl. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't work there anymore, so
Yeah.
after hours. But
Yeah.
no, so people
Dude,
would hire us.
that was probably
exciting
shit.
and
Yo, there he is.
yeah, I know it was the one cool story. I shouldn't say cool, but it was kind of weird being in. I actually was I was following this. I think they were down South Jersey, real down south. One of the last shore points. I forget what it was called.
Not Cape May, right?
No, not Cape May. It was like one of the shore areas people go to.
Seaside, Wildwood.
Oh,
No.
the short points. Yeah, that's definitely like that Seaside
Yeah,
Avalon,
Point Pleasant or
all that
something
Point
like
Pleasant.
that. Yeah, it was somewhere down there, and this woman had been, collecting insurance, fraud and stuff and whatnot, and she had claimed that she had, she couldn't move her shoulder, she couldn't pick anything up more than 10 pounds, she couldn't do anything. The insurance company's paying her out, so they hire us, and the majority of the cases that we did were over $1 million cases. They were insane cases, so the evidence that we had to collect were big. But anyway, she was at this shore home or whatever, and she's out there throwing the ball, and I'm collecting. I'm like, oh, this is freaking great. Whatnot.
Yeah.
Kids rolled it, but then there was no movement for like 3 hours, and you're in the back of this car, and it's hot, it's summertime, and you're sweating bullets, and she
Car's on
finally,
or off?
Car's off because you're in a residential neighborhood, so you're in the back seat. You got everything's darkened out, and you're back there. And, people knock on the door, or whatever it is, or something. If you're comfortable with it, you can put something up on the door, and they can read it, and they can they'll go about their business. Majority of the time, they want to talk and find out what the hell's going on.
What does it say though?
It says like private investigation. They'll have the company name, your name, all that other stuff.
Doesn't that kind of blow your
It
cover?
can not. It depends. Like I said, if you're comfortable with it, you can do that. Otherwise, you don't have to say anything.
Oh.
I've had Perth Amboy Police Department come up. I have numerous of police departments come up and say like, hey, what are you doing here? And sometimes you can't say much to the police because it is an ongoing investigation. Plus, I've actually followed police officers, and you can't say stuff because cops talk to other cops.
Yeah.
So you can't, say, hey, I'm following this guy. Oh, what's his name? So you say I'm following like, Jack Smith, and he's got some issues with insurance stuff. Okay, meanwhile it's John Doe, and he's off with some other girl right now. We're trying to figure it out.
Seems like a gray area, man.
It's weird. It's a hard balance. Like I said, your main objective is to collect evidence that's suitable for court.
Yeah.
And we have our manager that goes out and collects the videos and whatnot, but we have to report every little step. But we had gone into this, anyway, going back to the shore, we had gone into this one, the two girls, the two daughters, and the mom went into this one pizzeria area where you can have a party in the back. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm in like sweatpants, and so I went into my backpack and I changed into nice shorts and a nice shirt and stuff, and I went in there. And I'm sitting at the bar. I guess it might have been like a Sweet 16 or something like that. But I had, so obviously you can't bring in a camera. So we have a phone. It looks like an iPhone, zooming in, yeah, really. And nobody's at the bar. I'm by myself. It is so strange. Some random dude comes in.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of young girls over there. There were a couple moms. So I could have been like, yeah, I'm here for a mom or something like that. But, it was just a weird feeling to be in. Plus, I have a phone, it looks like an iPhone. If you open it up, it has an iPhone home screen, but it's actually recording you. You have to type in another number to actually unlock it to bring it back to the camera. So I have that set up in a weird area. But I guess some of the older girls came over for shots, and they're all like, hey, do you want to take a shot? 'Cause I was the only guy at the bar. So you got to blend in. Oh, all right, I'll take a couple of shots with you guys. But the actual person that I was surveilling was there at the bar too, and she was taking shots. So what do? I strike up a conversation, and it's got audio and video and stuff. And as soon as I started having this conversation, or I was getting, information from her and stuff.
So you're wearing a wire at this point?
No, you have your phone here. It collects audio and video. And so you kind of played a part and stuff. So I'm like, when I first started talking, I kept moving my knees. I was like, I got some problems. And because she kind of caught on to that. She's like, what's going on with your knee? I said, I got some knee problems and stuff. And I want her to be like, yeah, I got some shoulder issues. And sure enough, she fell for the bait. She was like, I got shoulder issues. The insurance company's telling me that, just keep going on with it, no big deal and stuff.
No,
I really doesn't help. And I'm like reeling this in. I cast it out the line. I'm bringing it in, right? And she had, and my boss was like, how'd you do it? I go, a couple shots happened, and we were at a 2-beer limit, so you can drink, because sometimes investigation will bring you into a nightclub, or it'll bring you into a social interaction, and to be there, you want to be there and part of that and have conversations and stuff. Because if you're weird, people will see that. They'll find you and they'll say, hey, you're out of the the baseline. You're the anomaly to this whole baseline and stuff. And I've actually been caught.
Really?
And I've been caught.
Yo,
And-
go into that if you can.
Mm-hmm. And usually when you're caught, it means that another private investigation company was on that person and they did a shitty job. Or I'm just a shitty fucking private investigator. I don't like to think that I had confidence in what I was doing.
Well,
but-
it sounded like you were really good with this one from the shore.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it was,
yeah.
you got to play the part, and I was very theatrical as a kid. I was always making funny faces or impersonations and stuff. So I was quick on my toes to think of something to, But anyway, we had gone to this. It was in Neptune, and we had this one guy who was I think it was insurance, and no kids, and he had a girlfriend living in an apartment. I got there about 4 a.m. and I'm sitting at the end of it, and all the school buses are going by in the morning and whatnot. I got eyes on the front door. I'm in the back seat, and he had come out, and he had a little girl and about a middle-aged, teenage kid, getting in the car, and I called my boss. I said, hey, is this guy that we're following have any children? No children. I'm like, well, unless he's got a second family. And she's like, oh, this must be new evidence. Make sure you get everything. So now the pressure's on. I have to capture everything. I'm like, this is something new. And he drove like a good 30 minutes. And now driving so far, it's very hard to follow somebody because eventually the guy's going to look up and go, wow, that Mazda CX-5 has been following me for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
And so he starts going down industrial ways, like, kind of going through, I don't know if you're familiar with Mount Olive, the Trade Center area.
Is that like near like the shop, right? And all that shit?
Sort of.
Sort of,
About
yeah.
10
It's
minutes
almost
from
like
there.
it's like a complex of a bunch of malls everywhere. You can kind of
This is not, wait, are there like pizzerias, Dunkin' Donuts, bagel shops there?
It's like a McDonald's and a Lowe's, Michael's, all that stuff.
Essentially, it's a bunch of warehouses.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
bunch of,
Okay.
so
An industrial park.
Oh,
and you
okay.
can kind of,
Yeah.
skim your way through that to get onto the other side of the
It's hard
highway.
to follow somebody through those.
So this
areas.
guy does this, and I knew right then and there, I'm like, this guy's playing games, he must know. So I had fallen back a little bit, but I don't want to lose him. So as he's turning, I can still see a good line of sight that I can still follow him. So he's turning, going all this stuff. And I finally did that, and eventually he pulled over, and I put my left blinker on, I pulled into like some sort of industrial whatever. And I just sat there, and I, right on top of my tongue, I'm pretend I'm on Bluetooth or the phone or whatever. I'm talking on the phone, whatever. And he had, so I'm parked right here, and he's on my right side, and they had the barrier right there, and there was an intersection, and he finally pulls up to the intersection and makes a left, and it's a giant intersection, because to the left of me was a big school. I guess he was dropping off the kids, and it's chaos. I mean, the police are out there directing traffic, school buses are going by. I'm like, shit, I gotta figure out a way to get out there.
Is this in the Trade Center?
No, this is down in Neptune. I just wanted to give an example of what
Gotcha.
what the Trade Center was like. And so I pulled out of the complex, and I'm on the road. Now I'm semi behind him. Luckily, the light had turned green, and now the light had turned red. So I'm at the light. He had went through the light and dropped off the kids. So I'm kind of leaned back. I'm getting a video of all this stuff going on, him getting out, letting all the kids. And he had taken off, and it's red. And I'm like, shit, how do I do this? And the cop is out there directing traffic. So I kindly inch myself out. I don't want to drive. There's a bunch of kids around there. So I drive out, and the cop is like banging on the hood of the car. What do you do? I said, I explained myself to him. I'm a private investigator. We have an ongoing investigation going on. I need to get to that car. So he very, very nicely, politely stopped the traffic and let me go through the intersection just to get onto the same road. I didn't have to necessarily, 100 miles an hour to go chase this guy. So I just slowly maneuvered my way, and I finally caught up to the guy, and I'm directly behind him, and I'm pretending I'm talking on the phone or whatever. I'm reaching down, eating a bag of chips or whatever. And this is in the middle of Neptune. It's high traffic going on in the morning. People are going to work, dropping their kids off to school. And I see his back lights come on instantly for 3 seconds, and now the car's in park. And now I'm like, uh-oh. So he gets out, the door opens up, he gets out, and he comes right towards me. So now I'm at the point of, oh shit, I've gotten to that oh shit part. Now
Yeah.
I have to figure out what to do after the oh shit part.
Mhm.
And you got to play it dumb. And I'm not saying playing dumb is like I'm deaf or blind, but play dumb is, the guy's going to come up to me. I don't want to act scared like, oh my God,
So
I
you're
don't wanna-
you're
I
right
don't wanna-
behind him at this
Yeah,
point?
I'm right behind him at this point. And I don't want to cause a scene either. I don't want the
Yeah,
police
yeah.
to come, they got to take reports or whatever.
Absolutely.
So as this guy is banging on my window, he's yelling, he's trying to open up my door. Why you following me? Why you following me? And
dumb fuck,
he's
you
like-
know why I'm following.
yeah,
you.
and I'm like, he's lifting up, trying to open the door. And as I'm doing that, I'm looking at my rearview mirror, I'm looking at my side mirrors to find an escape route to just take off and go. And we're at an intersection. It's a highway intersection here. It's almost like a Route 10 or a Route 46, like tons of.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can't go through this red light and not expect not to get T-boned. So I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, oh man. So he finally kind of was like yelling and went back and took out his phone. I've seen that plenty of times. People take out their phones, wanting to videotape me or whatever. And
Do you have tinted windows?
we don't, not in the passenger or
Oh.
driver's side. So you can see my white ass in the front seat and going, ah!
So he saw you. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh no, he's got me on
You
video.
gotta have tinted windows.
Yeah, you don't want to be looking like a cop. You don't want to look like you're it's not like the movies.
Yeah.
So-
I guess.
So I finally find my scapegoat and I just go, I gun it. I maneuver my way up to the left. I get into this intersection, and now I got to get the hell out of here because now he's pissed. Now he's kind of like, oh, I solved it. So now I just went through this intersection, and there's cars going by, and I'm like, I'm about to get T-boned, and I'm just kind of like, and I gunned it, and
Through the red.
and I got
Yeah.
some air or something. I went over this one hump, and I got it, and I gunned it.
Was he chasing you at this
No,
point?
he's not chasing me. I called my boss and I said, hey, unfortunately, I think I got, we call it getting made.
Yeah,
You know?
made. Yeah.
I said, unfortunately, I got made. She's like, what happened? I said, nothing really happened. I go, he was doing some weird stuff after 30 minutes. I laid off of him pretty well. I said, I pretty much gave it to her on hand. I wanted to get some feedback. Hey, maybe I did something wrong. She's like, no, you pretty much did everything right.
Yeah.
He must have had another private investigation company prior to you being there that he was on alert. When you do something wrong or you're guilty of something, you're going to be on high alert.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't really care. Obviously, I didn't go back onto that. We had other different cars or whatnot, but, that was getting made. But there's tons of stories. We were in New York City one time, and this one lady, we had information. I think it was Brooklyn. Brooklyn connects to Manhattan, right? So,
Brooklyn connects to Manhattan and is also attached, but I mean it's like the same island as Queens. So at some point in Queens and Brooklyn, if you look at it on a map, it's the same borough, but it's not the same borough, but it's the same island, I should say.
Okay.
Like same patch of land.
City boy.
yeah, really.
Yeah, I lived in the city for a couple of years.
I can tell you the Pequest Fish Hatchery connection lives right here.
That's
The
right.
vine right back here.
That's right. Fuck it, I'm gonna be a PI right now for New York City.
Yeah, really.
Mountain Lakes over there,
Yeah.
the general store.
Oh yeah, all sorts of connections. We don't even go by street signs. We go by landmarks. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, there's the bum that always sells crack. That's
Yeah,
it.
really.
Yeah.
So we're in New York City and we get there early, and I've done this plenty of times. So when you're New York City, it's a two-man job, 2 cars because of how the velocity of traffic that goes through. And we're in New York City. The lady had, I forget again, insurance issues. And I'll get to Fidelity stories, but these are all insurance right now. And she had no driving record, no anything of she drives a car. So we're like, this is going to be easy. She's going to walk out. She's going to walk out. She's going to go to a pizzeria. She's going to get her nails done, her hair done, or whatever. She was very extravagant like that. And we had seen that plenty of times. We walked out on foot and did all that. And luckily I had a female private investigator with me at the time that can go into these hair salons. Because I've followed female people that have gone into hair salons, and I'm like, I want to get my nails done or something like that, They're like, what? So I've had it, or turn around and go, hey, I need a certificate for my wife or my girlfriend or something like that. But
I'll sell gift cards.
But yeah, and I wanted to, because sometimes you have to play the act just to get the job done. It didn't matter, but anyway, this girl had come out, and we're like, oh, she's going on her daily walk, and she's dressed in like a nightgown. She's got hair curlers on. It's like 2:00 in the afternoon, typical New York City, right? And so she's walking up the street, and my partner had gotten out of the car and was following her. And I'm sitting there, I'm all set up, and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. She's a female. She's going to handle all the female work. I got, everything all set up. I'm relaxing and whatnot. And my partner's telling me, she's like, hey, she's going across the street. I'm like, oh. And she's going towards a car. I'm like, oh shit. Now I get to the oh shit situation. Now I'm past the oh shit situation. How do I solve after the oh shit? She gets into a car, and I'm like, oh crap. So I literally lose everything. I put everything in park. I drive to pick my partner up, pull off to the side. She gets in the back seat. I'm following her. This car comes at us, but then makes a U-turn and now goes the other direction. Now I have to do pretty much the same thing, but I don't want to get made, essentially, because you're going to look in your rearview mirror, make sure there's no cops or whatever. So I did the same thing, and this driver was so reckless. I mean, she was hopping barriers and just to get onto the other side. And, you know, you can't really do that, or, you know, somebody's going to, you know, eventually pick up on it. But overall, I did not get made, and I was on the shoulders. I was hopping barriers. I was cutting people off. I was cutting cops off. I knew there were cops. I was cutting them off and stuff, trying to get in. They didn't do anything. Typical New York City. You know, they don't want to do anything. That's another story. But so I was going after this girl, but I was keeping that distance and stuff and whatnot. But the next day I wasn't on the case, but my partner was. She ended up going to Kalahari or something like that in Pennsylvania. It's an indoor. Is that what it's called? Kalahari. Kalahari. She drove from New York all the way out to Kalahari.
They're like indoor.
Bro, that's like a 5
indoor
water park.
Well, I'll tell you, you want to talk about long drives.
Wait, you had to follow her all that way?
My partner did. It's only 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
Or no, 2.5 or something like that. It's actually really not that far.
I'm thinking of like when we used to go from Penn State to New York, it'd be like 5 hours.
Yeah,
it
or
takes 3
something.
hours to get to Rockaway. All right, keep going.
So I had gotten onto a new case down in Elizabeth, right next to Newark Airport.
Yeah.
And this one guy, it was very hard to find a parking space to see him. It was right. I could see movement with the vehicle. I couldn't really see him or anything. And he had gotten.
Don't tell me you got in the plane with him.
No, this guy didn't go on a plane.
Do you imagine that?
Yeah.
But I've heard stories.
Newspaper and fucking back
I've heard so many stories where you have to follow this guy, because I've asked. First thing I asked was, what happens if they go to an airport? Well, follow them as close as you can.
Yeah.
Depending on how high this priority is, you get a plane ticket and you go. I mean, you get compensated for everything, you know, whether it be gas or food, or if I went to the bar, I got compensated. I pretty much got free shots. You get compensated for all that stuff.
But see, at that point, you'd have to figure out what flight they're on.
Yeah, you have to
How
see.
do you figure that shit out?
Well, they're standing in line. They're standing in line to drop off their, luggage or something. Hopefully, they do have luggage. If not, you buy a plane ticket or something. Just hope that they're in that vicinity or something, maybe American Airlines or something. Sometimes we have guys back at the shop that'll look all that up and give you the information back.
Yeah, so you could always call them.
Because you can call them, they could say, so they have a lot of, I don't have the authorization, but somebody at the shop has the authorization to go through credit card statements, to go through all that kind of stuff, to go through family, and to break down, okay, he's got American Airlines, this is his flight, go get him, kind of thing. I've never had to do that. I've heard so many stories about people being on planes, and I'm going to like California, and now they got to get a hotel or something like that, and follow this rental cars and stuff.
Now, do you have an earpiece in at this point?
No, you call it with your phone when you're in the car and stuff. Everything's through a cell phone. It's more natural instead of putting your finger up to your ear and going, "We got him."
Yeah,
the eagle has landed.
That's what
I think you texted me
the eagle has landed. But
that's what I texted Joe when you got here.
Yeah. But it was kind of, you want to make it as natural as possible and stuff. So this guy gets in, and I'm watching him moving around in the morning, and he's taking stuff out of his car, taking out tires and all weird stuff. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Tires.
Yeah, tires, golf clubs. I'm like, what is it, Mary Poppins backseat?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I'm recording all this stuff, and he finally backs out and takes off. And we're driving. I'm natural, no big deal. It's in the morning, so there's commuter traffic all the time with the airport and stuff. And he starts traveling, I think it was 95, and starts going north 95, like all the way upstate New York, 81, all the way up, and I'm following him and stuff. He finally stops at a gas station, whatever. Now we're like 3 hours into the trip. He's all the way upstate. Now I'm almost like going to Canada at this point. I'm passing, I guess, what is it, Massachusetts or something like that. It parallels with New York. And I'm up there pretty high, and I'm telling my boss, I'm like, hey, we might be going to Canada at this point. I don't know what the heck's going on. He finally gets to a spot, and it's all gated, and I get there. He pulls in. I get the video footage. I pull off to the side. I'm kind of doing some recon, trying to figure out what's going on. It's all Hispanic people. You know, I guess they're having like a festive or something like that, and there's these 3 guys out there, 2 guard dogs. I'm talking like this is an intense VIP place.
Yeah.
And I call my boss. I'm like, yeah. She's like, can you try to get in?
What kind of car are you driving?
A Mazda CX-5.
A Mazda.
Yeah, a Mazda
It's the
CX-5.
Mazda. Then it's the Mazda.
A Mazda CX-5, and I told my boss, I'm like, I don't think I can do this. You know, I'm putting a red crayon with a bunch of purple crayons. It's going to be spotted. You're going to be spotted.
And you're right there at the gate.
I'm kind of further up from the gate. I'm not going to be parked down. So she's like, just try. So I'm going through my bag. I'm like, how can I make myself? I'm not trying to sound racist, but how can I make myself fit in with this crowd? Hat backwards or whatever.
I don't think it's any racist, man. You don't look
Spanish
I
or
don't.
Latino
For
the moon gives me sunburn, right? and I'm like, so I go up to the gate. I'm not gonna try to pull some, a Spanish, whatever. I'm not gonna do that. I gotta be like, So I'm like, how am I? I said I'm a news reporter. I go, because this looks pretty official. I go, hey, I'm a news reporter from a local news from New York, because we're in New York. I said, I heard about this place. We're going to try to check. And they kind of raised some eyebrows. I'm like, fuck, I screwed myself. And they're like, no, go ahead, come on in. I'm like, oh, perfect. But as I'm getting everything, I think I showed you the video one time. As I'm getting ready, everything outside my car, a bunch of quads and gators just roll up on my car. And I got the thing recorded. And they're all like, what are you doing here? What's your name? And all this, I want to see your credentials. And I'm like, I just got into my car. And I'm like, I'm leaving anyway. I don't need to be. So
you're out of the car at this point?
I'm out of the car at this point. They all
you're walking
up,
around.
And I'm walking, and they all finally rolled up. And they're like, what are you doing? What's going on? Because they had the parking area, but in the back behind the woods, they had actually the fiesta going on.
Right.
And I didn't get past that point. So eventually I just kind of got in my car and hopped out, and then just had left after that.
So are you calling yourself Matt Ciecwicz? Or what, do you?
No, you call yourself different names.
Give a fake name.
Yeah, you can give yourself fake names. You say you're John Doe. You can say you're Don. Hey, I'm Don Shoemaker.
Shoemaker.
Or like I'm Don Shoemaker, and they're like,
They would back the fuck up.
Like
that name.
You shrunk a little bit.
Yeah. But you can give a bunch.
You
of
don't look the
names,
same as last time.
Yeah.
You say
take
you're
shots.
Max Johnson or whatever it is, or my name is Bend Over or something like that. And they're like, oh yeah, Bend Over.
Yeah, I'm actually Hugh Janus.
Yeah, exactly. You
How
can
you
play
doing?
around with it and stuff. But you'd be surprised how oblivious people are to their surroundings and stuff. And it was pretty because I had teaching combat hunter in the Marine Corps, and it was observation, tracking, and profiling, and to really get in the mindset of somebody else is hard, and to really follow those people. It was really, I think the hardest part was actually following people, and like I said earlier, the emotions of actually grasping onto somebody and saying, this is so hard to do because she is a hardworking mother. I see that, but at the same time, she's cheating the law, and you want to uphold yourself to the law. You want to be a law-abiding citizen, but the way today now, day and age.
Well, so I think it's like it's worth it to note. Like you said, that there's some people like you felt bad because some people were just really trying to make ends meet during COVID, right? And the government was fucking everyone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, then you got the person who's fucking in $1 million house. And it's like, all right, one thing.
It was,
and it does really fucking get hard because then you got all these fucking politicians and people that are connected to politicians who fucking do whatever the fuck they want and no one does.
If you're
anything.
a Democrat, there's no such thing as a 3-letter word law.
No.
It doesn't apply to you. It doesn't apply to you. You can rape children and take people's money and stuff, put it in your pocket. You don't get in trouble for that. That's just plain and simple. And it's not just me saying that. It's hardcore evidence that's been presented in front of the not the Congress, but the Supreme Court, and they still go, we'll turn our cheek.
And that's what gets really hard. It's really hard at that point because there definitely are. It's just like an echelon of people. It's definitely on both sides too, but mostly on the left because you got these communist people.
Yeah.
Like I call them communists at this point because that's what they are. Yeah. And then what they do is they just they're over the law. And then you got their essentially I like to call them the Mitt Romneys and the Mitch McConnells of the world as well, who basically pretend to be Republicans but they're not. And
McCarthy.
Oh yeah,
I feel like is a swamp as well.
Exactly. For sure. Liz Cheney and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, then you got everyone else on the left too, who literally just break the law. and then you got these people on the right who also break the law, and then we have the ones who have to fucking pay our taxes. We basically pay their salary.
Like these politicians go up and they're like, "It's a great day for the American people." It's like, no, motherfucker, it's a great
fuck
day
that.
for you.
Yeah.
For us, we still suffer every single fucking day. It's a great day.
Yeah,
You know,
They can all get fucked.
we still suffer, and
All of them.
you know, I
Yep.
the January 6th, God rest that Air Force veteran who was killed. I don't instill violence. I don't say, hey, we got to take violence. But at the same time, when you think back into history, January 6th is the right direction to go when the government gets too big. And the government got too big. We saw that the election was rigged. It's been hardcore evidence. We have proven it now that the election was rigged, and we tried to take back and say, hey, the government took advantage of the American people.
Yeah.
Well,
And the government doesn't, we don't work for the government. The government works for us.
Yes,
And
exactly.
it got too big, and we had to say, hold on, time out. We can't just make phone calls and emails. We have to stand in front of your desk and say, hey. And essentially, the politicians were like, all right, we're scared now. They didn't get scared, but they should have.
They played us. No, they played us. They played
Big time.
us. I mean, they played the people because when you go back through it, there was a guy. He was part of a BLM chapter in Utah. The day before it, he was talking about how he was going to chop off the head of Trump. I forgot his name.
Kathy Griffin.
Yeah,
She did the same thing.
Yeah.
Or he said he was
did.
going to assassinate Trump. I don't know if it was
She
did that.
The one of the guys got arrested, right?
No, he didn't. He went in there with the CNN crew, and it was the video. They have him on the video. These guys are fucking idiots. They have him on video going like, "Dude, we made it in," and they were trying to seem like people that were Republican, quote unquote, conservative or Trumpers as they like to call them. And
Proud
there
Boys.
were people who were Trump supporters that went in there for sure, who were let in. By the way, they didn't fucking. There was no insurrection. But there was also a lot of fucking there now has been proof that there's been FBI in there, and there was people from CNN. There was this dude from the BLM chapter posing and Antifa posing as right wing people. Dude,
It's
like
so fucked up.
like they said there 9 people died during that day. No, they didn't, but that's a fucking lie. None of the fucking police officers that died they died a couple of days after. One of them, I think, one of the Capitol police officers, there was he was, I don't know, he got a hit in the head, but then he died later. But it was a lie. The only person who actually died on that day was the U.S. Air Force veteran. And I don't know too much into talking about what happened on that.
She had jumped through a window, and the Capitol police officer
So she's
shot her.
she's gonna get shot at that point. I mean, I don't know if
I mean, at the same
point,
sense, I think that was the only time the country's ever been together.
Yo,
The
legitimately,
January
dude.
6th riot was the only
Bro.
time that, because I'm hearing that the BLM, the Proud Boys, Trump supporters, Biden supporters, we're all together. I'm like, wow, this is a really American, turning point that we're all together at this point. Because every time we're divided.
No, for sure.
But this is the first time. I go, and that's essentially what it's supposed to be. I go, if you went back into history, this is what it was supposed to be. The country was supposed to come together, the American people, and supposed to say, hey, the government's getting way too big.
Yeah, exactly. But but the point I was saying before is the police officers that they said they died on that day, they never died on that day. They died afterward, and they didn't die. I don't even know if that blunt trauma even happened. I think one of them committed suicide. I don't know. I may be mistaken.
I think there was 4 Capitol police officers that committed suicide.
Yeah,
Fucking 4.
4, right? Yeah,
You got to make sure you
out of here.
emphasize on the parentheses.
And just so you know, they what they were saying was that they died at the fucking riot, and I'm using that in quotes so you see on the YouTube that it wasn't a riot, because they were let in, and they have the what's it called, the videos, right? So the Capitol building has the videos. Nancy Pelosi has those videos. So if it was as bad as Nancy Pelosi is saying, show us the videos. Why aren't you showing us the videos? Maybe because we will see Capitol police officers letting people in. You don't fucking let people in, dude.
Yeah.
And you want to know what? You knew that these protests, because that's what they were, you knew that everyone was going to show up to the Capitol weeks in advance. You were in the military. You were in that type of, you were in the military, so you know that if there is going to be a big ass protest, which you have to fucking you can show up, but you have to register it, right?
Yeah.
You know about it weeks in advance.
Yeah,
so if you were really nervous, you would set up security
100%.
that would never let people come in.
Yeah.
And then when people are walking in, that you let them in. And if you think here's the thing: if you're listening to this right now and you think that's a crock of shit, then why aren't we seeing the videos?
Right.
Like, seriously, why aren't we seeing the
No,
videos?
you're absolutely
And then
right.
when they're
You're
lying,
absolutely
they're lying about those police officers did not die that day.
Yeah.
And then if you really want to, I'm going to say this, I sound like a broken record. If you really fucking want to talk about riots and you're so appalled by January 6th, which wasn't a riot, I want you to also be equally and even more appalled of what happened in the summer of 2020.
Exactly.
When
I was just gonna say that.
when the White House, when a church near the White House was fucking set on fire, when a White House station was set on fire, when people were fucking destroying all these cities across.
A police station was taken over.
A police station was taken
Plain
over.
and simple.
Chaz.
Police taken over. A police
Women
station
were.
taken
Oh, by
over.
the way, by the same people, women were raped in that Chaz. And that's not funny. I say that like
No, but you're
and not laughing. Like
no, you're
it's like,
absolutely
are you
right.
fucking kidding me?
But that was okay, and there was no uproar on that shit.
Yeah.
No, it was the summer of love, according to the
They're
fucking
Democrats.
Peaceful
You know,
protest.
as I
Yeah,
say, you
peaceful
can get away
protest.
when you're a Democrat, and it's plain and simple.
it's
Here's the
insane.
evidence. That's the thing.
Dude,
Here's the
that's
evidence.
even beyond Democrats, man. I know Democrats are the great fucking people.
Yeah.
Oh no,
That
no,
is
for sure.
mental insanity.
No. That's why I'm making the assumption, like the distinction, because I know that there are a lot of Democrats and like Thai Democrats that listen to the show that aren't even agreeing with what's going on right now. That's why I distinguishing these people are communists. I was talking to a coworker of mine who's from Croatia. Okay, he's from Croatia. He's 45 years old, which means he grew up. He came in the 90s, which means in the 80s and the 70s, he grew up in communism when it was Yugoslavia.
Soviet
Okay,
Union,
yeah.
that's
Soviet.
fine.
No, well, it was at the time it was Yugoslavia, but yes, like the Soviet.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I was talking to him. I was like, dude, what's going on in this country is a communist subversion. And right away, he goes, oh, 100%. He goes, dude, it's obvious. Everything that I'm seeing that happened in Yugoslavia is happening right now.
You know how I don't think you realize how scary that is. That somebody from a communist country is saying in the United States, this is what I'm seeing as the start of communism. I don't think the American people actually realize.
No.
And you know what? Being overseas, I don't think people realize how scary communism is.
Well, you were in Eastern Europe, right?
People had left and fled countries. Cuba has left and fled to go to the United States because they want a better opportunity. And now communism has. I feel like democratic is a cancer. You know, if you have a big red state, and if you have that little blue dot in that red state, that's a cancer. If you got to attack it right away, or it's going to spread and it's going to end up deteriorating your state.
Yeah.
And essentially, look at Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania was so good and red at the time and stuff, and then, you know, everybody thought that Dr. Oz was going to come in and fix it.
He played us. Dr. Oz played Trump. Dr. Oz played Trump like a
the
fucking
election of that when Fetterman became senator. I woke up and actually I wasn't even awake. I was watching the TV and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I get the update and it was like John Fetterman had won, Pennsylvania, and I said, there's got to be there's no way.
No
This guy
fucking
can't
way.
even pull a census together. And we have seen hardcore evidence once again that he has a mental disability. So I'm like, there's no way.
No fucking way.
And I'm not saying that he's a Democrat, I don't want him, is that he's incapable of becoming a senator. Now, this guy is going to sit in the Senate and make decisions. And he just won to be a senator.
No, dude. The people making the decisions are the ones pulling the strings. He's just a fucking puppet.
It was
unbelievable.
Yo,
It was
unreal.
so tough to see that. I was like, wow, this.
Well, you're looking
country
at the
is
guy in a fucking sweatshirt and sweatpants.
the most style. Who called it? I think somebody called it. Some magazine, famous magazine, said he was the most stylish man of 2021 or something, or 2022 or something.
Dude, are they
was-
just putting
bro.
out shit that we know is not right just to make you like your mental
What was I telling you?
like
Yeah,
what
pretty
was I
much. They try
telling
to
you?
infuriate you.
yeah.
What was I telling you early this morning? The people you sent me that thing about how working out and staying fit is white supremacy.
Yeah, right.
And
yeah.
I was like,
there's
dude,
a headline.
yeah, the people who believe it, because it's not
fat phobic.
Yeah, fatphobic. Yeah.
Fucking
That's really what it is.
Get
You want to
stepping.
keep yourself healthy and educated?
Yeah.
You're stupid.
You're stupid,
You're
right?
fatphobic.
You're
Wait, I want
fatphobic.
to live till 90 and I'm stupid?
Yeah.
Oh,
Bro,
man,
joke,
that's-
man.
that's a
No, but
joke.
these people who like, because you have to think about it. So, sure, the election was rigged. It's obvious at this point. If you don't believe it, God bless. But the election was rigged, especially with Fetterman winning. But for it to have been rigged, two things needed to happen. Not as many people that were in opposition of him didn't vote, and people had to have voted for him. The people who voted for Fetterman, I told you this, NPCs, non-playable characters.
Yeah.
There's nothing going on there.
Yeah.
They're like when you play Grand Theft Auto and the dude's just walking in the street and keeps walking into
Exactly.
the building because there's a glitch in the game.
Exactly.
NPC. If you voted for him, you're an NPC.
It's-
if you're
it's-
offended by
it's-
that, I'm sorry, but you're an NPC.
The
It's a show for
Democrats
you.
the night before go to the graveyard and go, okay, John Smith,
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, submit it in. He was a John Fetterman voter. It's like, well, the guy hasn't been alive for 12 years.
Ugh.
And It makes me so crazy and so aggravated is we see this happening.
Yeah.
And we get to the votes and they're like, well, this guy John Smith hasn't been alive for 15 years. Don't worry about that.
Shove it under the rug.
Yeah, shove it under. It's like, oh my gosh, it's terrible.
I mean, how is it not a smoking gun for people when you see one case of ballot harvesting and people shoving fake votes into these boxes and shit like that? If you see one video of that, how is that not a smoking fucking gun?
Well, the fact
of a problem with the election system.
The fact that you had Barr, Attorney General Barr, his report said that there was fraud, but it wasn't enough to overturn the election in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. I was an auditor, all right? When you audit and you find a mistake, it's called an exception. You don't automatically, there's a joke that all these staff is like entry level. They always scream fraud when something happens, even if it's not, right? But when you do have a discrepancy, it's called an exception. And the first thing you do with this is you say, okay, well, now we're going to test another sample. We're going to test another sample size.
Yep.
And if it's okay, it's okay. But if you find that there is another discrepancy, now you have to ask one thing. Is this random? Is this an isolated incident? Or is the system fucked, essentially? So, like, if you had an accounts payable system and there wasn't a segregation of duties, which, like, there was two people handling the accounts payable, one actually doing the orders and the other one approving, right? Well, then in that case, if there was no segregation of duty, the system's fucked. So everything is going to be fucked in the sample size, right? Gotcha. Now, if it's an isolated incident, you could call it an exception, and then because of your statistics, blah, 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 you can either get by it, whatever, you documented it. If the fact that you saw that there was fraud, you shouldn't, the response isn't there was fraud, but now it's not enough to fucking overturn the election. The response is, okay, let's start seeing other counties. Well, sorry, you had Maricopa County in Arizona. Yep. That was huge. And they did it again with Kari Lake. First of all, if you're running as I believe it was governor, right? Not Kari Lake, excuse me. Kari Lake and Katie Hobbs. Katie Hobbs, they're running for governor, right?
Yep.
Okay, so Katie Hobbs versus Kari Lake as governor of Arizona.
I don't think it was Arizona. I think it was...
No, it's Arizona. Because I think it was Maricopa County again. Because it was all the same counties in Pennsylvania, Arizona, Wisconsin, etc., are the same in 2020. They had the same problems in
I was thinking of Georgia. I'm sorry.
Oh, Georgia, no worries. That was
Herschel Walker. Yeah,
Herschel Walker.
Yep.
So, essentially at that point, when all these counties have an issue, right? Because there was an issue in Wisconsin, there was an issue in Michigan, there was an issue in Arizona, there was an issue in Pennsylvania. That's not a fucking isolated incident. You have to go into it, but they're not going to because they know they cheated. Now, the one thing I want to say about Katie Hobbs, imagine that the three of us are going right now, right? And me and Don, you and Matt, you guys want to, I'm like, hey, dude, you want to eat Skittles or M&M's? And you guys go M&M's. And I go, I want to eat Skittles, but let's do a vote just in case, right? Yeah. And then my mom and dad and my sister come over and, they're heavy on M&M's. And I go, hey, guys, we're going to do a vote, right? What are we going to eat right now? Skittles or M&M's? And, let's send in the votes. But, oh, by the way, I'm going to be counting the votes. And just so you know, and I don't want M&M's, right?
Not called democracy anymore.
Katie Hobbs, legitimately the winner, and like I'm saying, quotes, she did not win, she cheated. The winner of fucking Arizona's governor race, she was overseeing the vote count. Are you fucking kidding me? At what point?
You're an election denier, man.
No.
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely ridiculous as the people in charge are running. They literally are trying to change the game of the election votes and stuff. They're trying to make it so that the Democrats have the control of everything.
Yeah.
And that leads to communism. I mean, just plain and simple. They're trying to pass policies and agendas that say, okay, the Democrats are going to be the lead. Anything that happens is going to go by us and we'll send it through. Like, you have the credibility and the accountability to say, okay, the American people are going to be like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Dude, it's not going to happen.
I think a lot of people just don't want to believe what's going on. I think they want to believe that they weren't lied to for all these years. But it's like, what do you care? Like, dude, if you're lied to, bro.
We were all lied to.
We were all lied to, bro. We're all being played, right? Yeah. The only people who aren't being played, George Carlin. It's one big club and you're not in it.
Exactly.
Remember that?
Exactly.
We're not in the fucking club. They are. Yeah. So let's fucking dismantle the club.
It's
peacefully, by the way. Just peacefully for, don't go out there and start fucking people up. Do it peacefully. But
Joe told me from Wilton and Fine.
Yeah.
Dude, listen, at this point, it's like, people, you got the tinfoil hat on. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. It's like, no. I'm actually seeing what's going on right now. There's
So-
some fucked up shit going on.
So how about the CIA being involved in JFK's assassination now that there's documents that came out from the December 15th documents? Okay, so now
But it's
here's
brushed under the rug.
brushed under the rug, but here's the thing. For all you people who always claim conspiracy, the term conspiracy theorist was created by the CIA to when people
Fact.
were asking that the
Distraction.
CIA
Fact.
killed JFK. So now, what are we doing, folks?
So,
What are we doing?
So
my
hard to-
favorite thing that you might have shared this on Joe. It's like on the show. It's like, oh, so the government's batting 1,000.
Yeah.
They're never wrong.
I got that from a fucking comedian. It was true though. It was funny, but it was true. It's like, yeah, dude, they're batting 1,000, bro. Fuck
So it's
off.
like nothing they ever say is wrong. If
Yeah.
anything against the government is conspiracy,
That's what
that
they
means
want
they're
you
batting 100%. It's
Yeah.
not fucking. It's not possible.
and then now, like you may be saying, well, if you can't, how about everything that comes out now? You're arguing it, so it's 100. They're not batting. They're batting 0. Well, it's like, well, if you weren't so fucking manipulative and being a liar, maybe we wouldn't be so fucking against you. Maybe if you could tell us the truth, then we'd be able to decipher what is actually conspiracy, what's actually fact and what's theory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ask yourself why they went so fucking hard after Trump for 4 years. Why did they spend all that money?
4 years are still going after him.
all that time going after this guy. Whereas you never saw that ever before in the history of
Because he wasn't part of the club.
Maybe close to maybe Reagan. Reagan was probably the only one that they really went after, but he wasn't a politician. These guys aren't politicians.
Yeah, but they were.
So their hands are in the pockets
Yeah.
of these So when they come out of the pockets and they go, well, in these pockets are this, and this, everybody's going, wait, hold on, we got to get this guy out of here. He knows too much.
Yeah, but you have to understand at that point, that's when the communist subversion was starting. So there's an ex-KGB officer in, I think, 1983. You can just literally Google ex-KGB officer, 1983 interview, communism, and it'll come up. It's like an interview from the 80s.
It's like black and white, right?
Yeah, no, it wasn't in black and white. But he was an older man, a Russian man who was an ex-KGB agent. He was talking about how there was a communist subversion starting in America and it was already in place. That was in the 80s, dude. So the reason why they went after Reagan but not as hard is, dude, it was starting to get, like, they were starting to do everything.
To find something.
We are fucked, dude. At this point, we're what, almost 40 years into it, dude. You know, that it's completely
With
different.
all that wrapped up, after everything we had said, you know, and then talking about everything we said earlier about AI, what do you believe? What is there to believe? Who do you expect? And I'm gonna get it. We can really get into it. Who do you think is really at the podium? Who do you really think is saying this stuff and all and whatnot? You know,
who's
real,
calling the shots?
You know, who's calling the shot? We obviously know that Biden's not calling the shot.
No.
That's been established.
Politicians don't call the shots.
You know, that's been
Politicians don't call the
established and whatnot. But it's hard to believe, and who's really controlling everything is, you know, and I feel like a stronghold is the media, whether it be Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, ABC. I feel like the media is the total control of what the narrative is going to be.
The media, absolutely, but they're also controlled. So, who's in charge? Who's calling the shots? This is actually something I will preface with. This is my opinion because I don't have proof of this, and I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But so your politicians and your media, those are your head, like, you know, your Chris Cuomo's, who's not anymore, Don Lemon, who's not anymore. Those are your puppets.
Yep.
Biden's a puppet. Pelosi's a puppet. Xi Jinping is a puppet. Putin's a puppet. Zelensky's a puppet. All of them are puppets. They get controlled by the World Economic Forum, who is led by Klaus Schwab, who has a book that he wrote in 2016 called The Fourth Industrial Revolution, in which he talks about a lot of shit that's current right now. Look it up. Buy the book, maybe. Don't buy it. Read it in Barnes and Noble. Don't give him money.
Audiobooks.
Yeah,
audiobooks. Everything's audiobooks now.
Like Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, puppets. So you have him, you have Soros, George Soros, who has a huge presence in Ukraine. George Soros, Klaus Schwab, and then you got people like the Rothschilds, you have the English royal family, the Dutch royal family, you have the Rockefellers. These are all people with, you know, you see the Forbes list with, Elon Musk is the richest man in the world at 264 billion, or Jeff Bezos. Yeah, those are people recorded. These people have like trillions of dollars. Once again, this is my speculation. Then you go to the Vatican. You have the called Knights Templar. All these people. Those people, like the Vatican, bro. You know, you realize how all the most powerful people, like the quote unquote most powerful people, the presidents always go to the Vatican.
The Illuminati.
Yo, legitimately, they always go to the Vatican. The Vatican has
Yeah,
fucking gold. Like
absolutely.
what's in those archives, dude? Who knows? You know, there's a lot of theories. These are actual theories. These are theories of what's in the archives. Who knows what's in the archives? Vatican archives. Those are the people that are ruling the world. Now, that's what I think. Now you got people who do. Now this is where we're gonna hit the theory world. Okay, the actual theory instead of conspiracy fact. There are also theories that, and I believe in, like, you know, good and evil. I believe in spirits. I believe in afterlife. I believe in something that's not of this plane. Like we're on a 3D plane, right?
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
humans, but I believe that there are entities that are not human. Right?
Absolutely.
And this is like science. This isn't even religion, right?
No,
Like,
that's
you know,
just
like
it.
dimensions, right?
Yeah.
There are theories that there are even people that are controlling them. The people, the humans, are actual fucking demonic. But like, if you think about it, when we go back to it, you have Epstein had his island with a bunch of pedophiles and a bunch of these most powerful people, of which I've mentioned, and other people that are high CEOs and stuff,
Yeah.
are most likely either, if they're not pedophiles themselves, they've what's it called? What's the word I'm saying? Enabled it to happen. They've turned a blind eye, right? And they've allowed it
Guilty
to happen.
by association.
Well, guilty by
Yeah.
association. That's demonic, dude. Like when you are a fucking 40-year-old dude fucking a 14-year-old girl or
Yeah.
boy or fucking 8-year-old boy, that's demonic,
Yeah.
right? So
It's-
at that point, you're being, and this is what the theories are. You're being possessed. I fucking see. I don't even think that's a theory. Like, dude, they're being possessed by the devil.
It's just straight facts. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck. I don't know. Like, how do you fuck up? Like, dude, and there's a lot of shit. Like, dude, yeah, we're all humans, dude. Like, we're not perfect. I don't know. You tell me, are you perfect?
No.
Are you perfect?
No.
I'm not perfect, but I definitely don't fuck 4-year-olds.
When it came to Amazon, I was.
Right? Yeah.
No, but yeah, you're
Yeah,
absolutely
like,
right.
you
You're
know,
absolutely
like-
right. Yeah, and there's a different disease. I spoke to Don about this this one podcast. It's called Under the Yellow Tape with Howie Ryan.
Yeah.
And there's one guy talks about he was brutally molested by a guy. It's all in Sussex County, New Jersey, and stuff.
Mhm.
And I talked to him at Clark. His name is Clark Fredericks, and I asked him to, I got to reach out to him to come back. He said, to come back on the podcast, and his story is absolutely remarkable. But it comes down to demons and getting associated. And this guy was brutally molested by this one guy, and for him to think like, was this something that, was a disease to him? Could he turn it on and off and all that kind of things, and or was it something that he was born with or something like that? So
Yeah.
it's something crazy and out of the ordinary that you really have to dive deep into to really think about and stuff, and that's what you're doing.
No, yeah. I mean, like at this point, dude. Like, look, let's just say what I completely said is wrong. Okay, fuck it. Like, I don't like. I'd rather say shit like that than still be wearing a fucking mask in my car by myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, or
Dude,
still
I saw somebody riding a bicycle today with a mask on. I'm like,
NPC, bro.
is this?
Did he have a
fucking-
helmet on?
Is this? Yeah.
I was gonna say somebody riding a motorcycle with a mask on.
I was like, is this real? Is this real
Yeah,
life?
Nah,
It is.
NPC, bro.
It is. Like so many
gotta be
people.
dreaming.
People make jokes. People make jokes today. My dad and I will go back and forth in the kitchen in the morning, drinking a cup of coffee. We'll make jokes and stuff, and one of us will make a joke that goes too far. And we're kind of like, are you being real? Are you being serious? Because we're like,
Yeah.
and my dad would be like, yeah, I saw a guy riding a motorcycle with a mask on but no helmet on, and I'm like, ha ha ha. And he's like, no, that's for real. I'm like, oh, there's.
Well, dude, it's
And now everything has to be like, wait, hold on.
And we're
Are
not-
you being for real?
And we're not talking about
That's
like
the thing.
badass like biker, like you have the bandana to cover your face.
No,
you know what
it's
I mean?
a
We're talking
guy
about, like,
on
with
a-
a fucking like mask, right?
surgical mask.
No, I'm talking like the blue with the white,
Yeah.
and he's riding a motorcycle,
Yeah,
and,
Yeah, bro.
and you're like, what the heck? is
Dude, the funny
going
part
on?
was I was at Wendy's the other day. Dude, I love junk food. I really do. I'm a big fitness guy, big
yeah.
health guy, whatever. I love fucking junk food.
That
So
is my heroin. I
Yeah.
guess I
Yeah.
could say.
I'm like, let me go to
Oh.
Wendy's, right? Dude, there was probably 4 people that went in there with a mask on, walked out with a bag full of fast food, hopped in their car. They took the mask off once they were in the car, but I'm like, you're having fast food here, and
Yeah,
you're
dude.
wearing a mask. It's
Right?
something
Yeah, fuck
ridiculous.
that
Or
shit,
that's the same perspective as somebody blowing a hole in their mask and smoking a cigarette and going,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
part of the
it's-
process.
yeah, right,
It makes
same
no
thing.
sense. It's how you're gonna, it's
ridiculous.
it's flopped, and you know who controlled it was the government.
Yeah,
the government
for sure.
controlled it and said, here's everything. And now I guess Patterson just came out
With the
Patterson
school, right?
District, mandatory mask. You're telling me
Every
now all of a
parent should tell
sudden,
the teachers
from
to
that
fuck
point perspective,
themselves.
when it was lifted to now, everything in between was just, nothing's changed. It's just, I can't wrap my head around the
I can't
facts and the
either, man.
statistics and what these people sit down, I think in a higher echelon of, Biden, his administrative and his cabinet sitting down and going, there's nobody going in a room going, this shit doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense to me right now.
Do you know what they're doing? They're literally sitting there. Well, and it's not even them. It's the fucking people at the World Economic Forum and the people above them. But they're like, all right, so no one believes us. By the way, they're panicking because for Palestine to do that, they're panicking.
Yeah.
Right? Their shit is being found out. That's why, when you mentioned before, Don, with Democrat and Republican, I really do think that it's not a blue and red issue when it comes to this. I think there is. That's why, I think both sides see the bullshit and they're scared. But you know what they're also saying? I could see them sitting in a room and then being like, hey, just so you know, we should probably have the schools put the masks. And one person's like, dude, they don't believe us. And then the other person's probably like, bro, fuck it. They're retarded. They're stupid as fuck, dude. They'll do it. Oh, we'll get 10%. That's all we need is 10% of the population to fucking go along with it.
Yep.
At least they're probably like, oh, we tricked them into getting a fucking untested vaccine.
Yeah.
They'll do it. And 10% of the people. 5 times. And 10 people will fucking do it. And yeah, like I said, 5 times. There are people who've gone 5 times.
Well, that's the thing with the whole Afghan withdrawal was somebody going, people sat down at a table and was like, we got to, withdraw from, the Middle East, and somebody going, all right, finally, it's about time, and then, people going back and forth and whatnot. But to leave Afghanistan the way that we left it with millions of dollars of equipment is absolutely absurd. There's no military personnel leadership to go, hold on, sir, time out. We got to figure this out. We can't leave it and that's what came out with, what was his name? He was a Marine.
Oh, Stuart Scheller.
Stuart Scheller. I just bought my dad a book for Christmas about that. And that guy had it up to here with his, to his brain, and just said, you know what? And I can't say I know how he feels, but at the same time, I know where he's getting from about leadership being the way it is and taking control over the narrative and saying, okay, this is what it is, and now everybody has to do it. I mean, 9 people, or was it 12? 9 or 12 people were killed during the Afghanistan withdrawal. And that's just absolutely absurd to think of.
Do you know what definitely happened with that? Biden was chilling and in the administration, and someone else came over, right? And because Biden, he was a part of CFEC, which was a Chinese company, while he was vice president in 2015. There's email proof of Hunter Biden saying, we need keys for me and my dad, et cetera, et cetera. So essentially, as the sitting vice president, he was dealing and taking money from Chinese private companies, which is treason. Okay, then you have
hardcore evidence.
Yep. Then you have Hunter Biden, who's now we know is a crackhead, and we know he has on his laptop, there's allegedly, there definitely is, of him, we've seen the photos of him with fucking hookers. No, allegedly, yeah. I shouldn't say allegedly. There's actual evidence of hookers. What I should say is allegedly these girls are underage. They probably are because they're all fucking pedophiles.
And crack cocaine and everything.
It's proven. You're right. Let me rephrase. It's proven that he did that, and they're allegedly underage. They probably are because these girls looked fucking, from those photos that you can see, they looked really fucking.
Yeah, I didn't see the photos, but
the ones I'm talking about, the ones
the photos. I just probably
that they had on the videos. There was a video of him skinny dipping. That's what I was going with. There was
I saw the ones of him in the hotel room.
And then
I didn't see
that one, and then I saw skinny dipping. The girls look really fucking young.
Oh, that's
it's you just fucking fuck
again,
that
not
shit.
Surprised.
But at that point, it's just okay, well, why am I bringing this up? Because you definitely know that they're sitting with all these decisions. We always ask, well, who's fucking making decisions? No, this is essentially what's happening. There's something going on that we're not seeing, that we're not being told. So I don't know how these players play into Afghanistan, but they're like, hey, you should probably withdraw. And then someone's probably like, no, that's a very bad idea. These people are going to die. And then probably Obama and Hillary, who are really controlling him.
General Milley.
Yeah, well, General Milley, but also I'm talking about the people who are controlling Biden. They're probably like, we probably shouldn't do it. And then they're like, oh, really? Well, we have evidence here that you took millions of dollars from a Chinese company. We have evidence here that your son is a fucking pedophile.
Well,
and then they make you do it.
to pull out of Afghanistan, you have to go through Congress in order to do that.
but
House of
Congress,
Representatives to go out to the Senate and stuff. And who
We
runs
can't trust
that?
Congress, dude.
It's the Democrats.
Yeah,
So
but
you know right then and there that everything is through Democratic, policies and stuff.
and they're
Everybody's
all
within that.
compromised, though. And
Everybody's
they're all
within that
compromised.
alignment and stuff.
And they're all
So it's-
compromised, dude.
Mhm.
They're all compromised. You
They're
can't
all
trust
corrupt.
them. They're all
Yeah,
corrupt.
it's-
Exactly.
it's,
They're all compromised. And you're right though. It goes through them, but they're not gonna fucking stand for us.
Mhm.
There was a great comment. It was a video I was seeing. It was about someone like it was two congressmen.
Just recently? Or?
Yeah, no. It was recently. It was Ohio, and it was the Republican versus Democrat. I forgot their names, but it was Ohio. And the moderator asked the Democrat, "What is your plan to like lead the people?" And there was a comment in the fucking post on Instagram that was fucking beautiful comment. It was so true. It was like, they're not here to lead us. They're here to serve us.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, it's so true, but you see how they use it. Like, you can't, no system, the point I'm going
Yeah,
is
the
no system is
government.
trust, you can't trust anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't trust anything.
Yeah, you can't. It's tough. It's a tough world to really comprehend. But again, like I said, with everything wrapped up, religion is a big factor in everything.
It is.
Having a strong foundation, and
There is
you
good
know,
and evil.
all of us have grown up, very fortunate of what we have, but we don't take advantage of it, and we're very humbled by it. And there's a majority of Americans are the same way, and we know hardships and whatnot. We've seen struggles, we've endured struggles ourselves and stuff. But we don't victimize ourselves. We don't make it say, if I lose my job, I'm not going to make myself a victim. I'm going to go out and find another job, or I'm not going to, if something else happens, I'm not going to make myself a victim. And that's what it is people today are making themselves a victim in the Olympic oppression. That's what it is today. And
Yeah.
It's very, very tough, because no matter what you do, you're considered a victim, and we need to erase all that
Yeah.
and get all that, gone and stuff. But
Bro, I'm a true believer
it's,
that you
it's
you
very, very soft.
Yeah, you control your own destiny, dude. Like whatever you're here. I'm in the position I am right now, sitting in this seat because of every choice
Mhm.
I've made. You're in this seat because of every choice you made. You're here right now doing what you're doing because of every choice you made.
Yeah.
If you're not happy,
Not anybody gets on this podcast.
no, not everybody. Yeah.
And you know what?
exactly.
Just to go off of Don, I was very skeptical of coming back on this podcast. I didn't want to say anything, but I was very skeptical of coming back on this podcast because after episode 8, I don't think I left this driveway. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry, scratch that. I left this driveway, but when I got onto the highway, it was nothing but flashes here and there. And when I got back into my driveway, it was paparazzi just coming
It
at
gets
me.
crazy.
And,
For real?
I was
I
telling
know.
Don, I sent Don tons of Snapchats,
Yeah.
and my fiance was like, "Hey, I don't think you should go back on there." And I told her, I said, they're calling, they want me to come back and stuff. She's like, "I don't know." She's like, "It's been a hard life." I went to Walgreens the other day and they said that you were cheating on me. I go, "That's the paparazzi." I go, "You have to stick with me." I go, this podcast is strong. I go, they say what they want to say.
Dude.
And
But
she's like, "You know what? Go and you speak your mind."
Well,
So I
dude,
was
that's-
like, perfect.
Yeah. Fuck
I go,
yeah.
That's why I have tinted windows, man.
Yo, dude.
I know.
I change my car once a month.
I know, yeah.
Yo, you have been. I remember you were telling me, dude. You've been fucking approached, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
And I've gone, people have come up to me, autographs and photography.
Oh, damn.
I said, it's not me. It's We'll Take It From Here podcast group. I go, those are the guys you want to go after. They're like, you know them. I go, I do. I go,
Yeah, you're
I
on
got
it,
them at
man.
speed dial, I got
Yeah, you do, baby.
And
Fucking love it.
even Hackettstown PD was like, you want me to lock down your wedding? You guys got to do the podcast guys. Whole security. I go, yeah. I go, I'm some snipers everywhere. I go, these guys are gonna come in hot. You gotta make
We'll
sure.
take it from here.
Yeah, I gotta make sure. I got some PIs everywhere.
Yeah. That's
Eagle
awesome.
has landed. He's got it coming in.
I fucking
That's
love
good.
it, dude.
Yeah.
No, it's all jokes aside, dude, it's I don't know. The whole world right now, I feel like is just in a really weird spot.
It's so divided. I don't think anybody's realized it. It's a 50 to 51 ratio right now.
It's spiritual warfare, I think.
It is. It's spiritual warfare.
I think it's spiritual warfare. I think that's why I try not to get to when I see headlines that really make no sense. I try to laugh at them now because
I tried to, man. Sometimes it gets me down. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, that's the thing is I
Something
went through that process of oh man, this is bullshit, to, oh, this is so funny, or I don't care. Now it's to a sense of, now I'm like just kind of deprived of it, or just deflated.
Yeah,
in the sense of seeing this stuff of like, oh yeah, Biden did this. I'm like,
Like I think there was a portion there where I was really angry all the time, right? I think there's probably stages of, I don't know what you call it, but there was a period there where, I mean, me and you would talk all the time, just fucking getting angry at each other, me and you, Joe.
Yeah.
And now it's like I don't get that really fierce like anger and anxiety inside of me. Now it's just like I just get frustrated and kind of deflated because I'm like, this can't be fucking reality.
Well, so what I think like the most important thing, I think what we've all come to, what it sounds like, we've all come to realization that it's very important to be knowledgeable of what's going on, but you don't let it consume you, right? So we're not letting it consume us anymore. I used to do that when I like.
Same here,
bro. I'm gonna say this NPC joke for the 50th time, but it's the same thing. When I see shit like stupid shit getting said on the TV, I'm just like, bro, who the fuck believes this? And if you do, God bless you, because I can't.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'll make a shot. Brian Kilmeade, he was on Fox and Friends in the morning. I listened to his podcast, but he was the same way of. I would talk to my father, and I would, or even my mom himself too. I'd be like, what did you guys hear this morning? They're like, we didn't watch the news. We can't watch the news because a coffee glass is going to go through the window or something like that. We can't watch the news. We got to hear someone who calms us down and says, hey, we have something bad going on, but essentially this is what's going to happen. And overall, like, we see that our country is crashing, and it was going back to college. I just did a discussion. It was like, is America? The question was, is the United States still a superpower, and should isolationism or something like that, I think it was called, be in place for United States? So I said,
in what way, like isolationism?
Isolationism. I looked it up, and it's a political. It's the first thing you say what is isolationism is, and then you say it involves the United States, and then it says it's political power. You should automatically say, okay, never mind. That's not going to work. But isolationism, I forget what it was called, but essentially what it is, it's pretty much. Everything is done in-house. You don't have foreign policies, or you don't have anything associated. You don't associate yourself with NATO, and I hate to say it, but it's kind of like Ukraine. You don't associate anything with anybody. You do everything in-house, which is okay, but at the same time, economically, it's not going to work. So I said, they asked, is the United States a great superpower? And I said, yes, essentially, but it's not going that way, because essentially when you comes into the superpower, you have to think economically into economics, you have to think military, citizenship, and what was the other one? I forget what the other one was, but you have to coincide all of those groups and to make it one thing, to make it say, okay, I have the superpower. Today, the Americans don't have that. The border's open, crime is at an all-time high, unemployment's at an all-time high. America, I love this country to death. I served it. I'm continue to serve, but America isn't the best country in the world right now.
No, because of the fucking politicians. So whatever.
But the thing is, when somebody says because of the politicians, we need another January 6th. We need somebody to say, okay, we need to control. The American people need to control. If you think of The Patriot, the movie The Patriot, I get it's a movie, but civilians walked into a church and said, what are we going to do? Everybody said, all right, you're going to be a leader. And a leader is never a position. That's not a job. A leadership is never a job. It's just somebody who needs to speak for the other people about what they say. And that's what politicians are supposed to be. They're supposed to be just a voice. And now it's a job. It's a control, thing. And that's what I get so frustrated about, is that we don't see that nowadays. We need to figure out we need to take control over that.
Here's the solution. The solution is you just don't fucking comply. So for example, let's just go back to 2020, okay? So let's just say that we didn't comply at that point. So, because you're saying, okay, we need like another like revolution type thing. Well, here's what the revolution is. You just don't fucking comply. So, for example, when they come in and they start saying, hey, you got to close your business down. No. Okay, well, we're going to sue you. Or it's a mandate. Yeah, it's not a law. Go sue me. See what fucking happens. Now, when you're onesies and twosies, it's easy for the state because the state has so much money. I'm not naive.
Yeah.
Yes, the state has so much money.
The state doesn't have much money. They call it into a executive order, which brings in federal funding.
Yes, exactly. And that funding is going to beat you as a small business, right? But here's the thing. When it's onesies and twosies and only one business is doing, by the way, Ian Smith, I know he's no longer affiliated with Attila's Gym, but at the time when he was affiliated, he was making money because they stripped his business license and then he just operated.
Gym?
Yeah, Belmar. He just operated off of donations. There's a way to do it, but what I'm going to get into it is, let's just say there's 20,000 businesses. I don't know. I'm just making up a number. 20,000 businesses in a state, right? And all 20,000 businesses said, nah, fuck you. I got to pay my bills. I'm staying open and send your fucking shit over. Because as per the Constitution of the United States, which is the law of the land, you can't do this and we're going to sue you. Okay, so you have that much manpower to do 20,000 fucking businesses and 20,000 lawsuits? It's probably more. You have that manpower because the whole thing is, oh yeah, well they have the money. The state has the money. The government has the money. Sure. Yeah, you have the manpower, motherfucker. And when everybody, I'm saying everybody, you really just need like 50% of the businesses, but everybody should not comply. When you have every business in New Jersey, every business, whether it be small or big, tell Murphy to go fuck himself, right? You think they have the manpower to do that? You think the cops have the manpower to enforce it? No one's gonna do it, and then they're gonna be like, oh, okay, we gotta back away. That's the revolution. The revolution is not compliance. It doesn't even need to be no violence.
You can't comply. I've seen so many businesses not comply, and what sucks is I understand what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, but businesses would love to do what you're saying, but the government chokes them out. They say, well, you're not going to get this, you're not going to get that, and it destroys them.
Well, here's
if I said I'm going to go out to the desert and say, fuck the government, and then the government goes, well, we're going to choke off your water. If you're in a desert with no water, you can go without food, but no water, you're done.
No, you're done.
I love what you're saying, but it's
I get that, but that's why I'm saying in onesies and twosies is easy, and even Ian Smith at the time when he was still with Attila's, he beat it. He essentially beat it, dude. He beat it. Like they after it took a couple of years, but if every business is doing it, dude, because essentially their bullies are the police, right? Yeah, I'm pro police, but I'm pro police to where you respect the Constitution. If you're telling me that you're shutting down a business where the CEO, the entrepreneur's sole income is from that to provide his family, and the reason why you, even though you know it's wrong, you're doing it is because you have a family, you don't want to lose your job, that's the problem. Bro, and I'm not even a cop, I've never been a cop, but think about it logically. If you have all these businesses say no, and then they say, okay, we'll enforce it, go arrest them, you don't have enough fucking people to arrest all these people.
Police officers are in the predicament of going, because majority of police officers sign up for what is right and wrong.
Yeah.
And now they're in the predicament of going, well, it's right, but it's not wrong, but now we have to arrest them because it is wrong, because somebody made an executive order down. So police officers are in a hardcore predicament now, and nobody wants to do their job anymore. New York City is a perfect example and stuff of what's going on. And like I said, I'm pro police as well and whatnot, but it's so hard for these police officers to do their job and to figure out what's right and wrong. And it's tough because I would love to be. I'm trying to be a police officer myself, but as I'm evaluating, observing everything, I'm like, what is right and wrong? Am I going into this profession because I want to, or am I going into this profession because, I feel like the government's all messed up and whatnot, and I need to fix it or whatnot. I need to be a voice and whatnot. But that's wrong. I'm going in this profession because I think I could make a difference and to see that there's no such thing as color, there's no such thing as race, it's law and order, and if you obey the law, you're okay. If you don't follow the law, you got to get locked up. And certain laws like speeding or whatever, I'm not going to, do all that kind of stuff, but that's what's going into. But now the government has changed the narrative of police officers, and now police officers are in the middle of going, well, what do I do?
Well, it's obvious. Does it? Well, I say it. Look, I'm gonna fucking preface this. It's obvious. Yes, it's obvious. All right, now I know there are some police officers who listen to the show. No, I don't know what it's like to be in your situation. No, but think about it this way: if the reason that you're first of all, executive orders are not laws. It was never fucking put in by Congress or the legislative branch. Okay, so it could be fought. Now that's where I come back to the point where
I hope Murphy hears that, because executive orders aren't laws.
They aren't laws. And
I hope New Jersey hears that too.
When Trump did the same thing, his executive orders weren't laws. When Biden does it, they're not laws, dude. They're just executive orders, right? You don't technically have to.
And the uneducated people don't know that.
No, they don't know that. They don't know that. You keep calling it laws. It's not a law. But at the same time, with these cops, because the predicament the cops are in is even the cops that enforce this shit, they probably don't want to, but they just see that it's a paycheck, they have a family, they have a mortgage. Okay, I don't have a family, I don't have a mortgage, I have rent, I do pay all my own bills, and guess what, motherfucker? I left a really good paying job, and I'm in the middle doing a job right now where I'm not making as much. Dude, you can make ends meet, you live well below your fucking means, you can do it. Like, what you're afraid of is to stand, if you truly believe what we are saying right now about a communist subversion, but you don't have the courage to stand up when your politician in suit, your chief, tells you to fucking shut down that business for a fucking COVID violation, right? And you don't believe it, but you do it anyway because of a paycheck. It's time for you to leave the profession. Yeah. It's time for you to leave the profession. There's many other jobs that you can see out there that you can find, especially, as we touched upon this in the beginning, especially in this job market with the plethora of lazy individuals who don't want to fucking work. You could find a fucking thing. The people want you. So if you truly can't do the right thing, and if they fire you, go find another job. You will, when your back is up against the wall, you will find a way to make it work.
Every place that I have gone into has had a help wanted sign, and it's tough to see that, because I'm like, I see a lot of my friends or people on Facebook, they're like, I'm looking for a job. I go, everywhere I turn is a help wanted sign, but it's a matter of, they demand, I got to work 9 to 5, but I might have to work an hour later or something like that. I said this plenty of times. I think I said this on episode 8. The perfect job to get into is the restaurant business. If you can't survive the restaurant business, I don't think you can survive the outside world.
No, indeed.
And my fiance had done it. She was in college at the time, and she worked at Ciecwicz. And the stories she had told me about people, getting angry at her and her keeping her composure and the amount of stress that she had. And I'd worked at the restaurant business, the tavern. Remember the tavern?
You worked there?
I did.
Oh, no shit.
Oh yeah, I worked there. I was a busboy. And I've worked there plenty of times. And I have got in the restaurant business is something that you really can adapt, either the military or the restaurant business. Now, as a bartender, anybody knows how the restaurant, it should be a bartender of dealing with, drunks and all this other stuff. But the restaurant business and the military kind of coincide of building a work ethic. And people graduate high school or are in high school and they go to a Walmart or a Friendlies or something like that, and deal with people on a daily basis, on Monday through Friday, whatever. Don't deal with the holidays, because some restaurants are open on the holidays, and some people don't experience that kind of perspective in life, kind of thing.
So 1,000%. Now, obviously, I work in the restaurant industry now, and I do see what you're saying, but I will 1,000%
Mount Tabor, right?
Yeah, Tabor, yeah. Fucking, I don't give a shit. Tabor, come visit me, baby. But no, to your point though, I will say this. I'm gonna just say this as I forgot what the word's called, but just to get it out there, I definitely think the military infinitely, especially with all the branches and all the fucking from spec ops to non-spec ops, just grunt, whatever, infinitely harder than the restaurant industry. I don't even want to make that comparison, but I do see what you're saying with the work ethic and the people that just, dude, I've thought so many times to make an episode on just like shit that goes around the restaurant, just so people can know, but I just don't, because it's my job, and if I don't like it, I can leave.
It's not. Don and I and yourself can go off of work ethic. We both have hardcore work ethics. We started, like I said earlier, we started with a phone on a table and a broken chair. Now look at us. Yeah. And you guys have started with that, and I have started with no education, and 2 weeks out of high school I'm in the military, and I ended up doing all this good stuff, and now I'm out and I'm about to get my associate. Nobody would ever thought that in the next, if I said that 10 years ago, I said, hey, I'm going to have an associate. Yeah. And it's a mindset. It's a foundation that we had built. And it's education, essentially. We're educated. We see the right things. We're in 2023, and COVID has started, 2019 or 2020?
Yeah, no, it technically started in October 2019, but all the hysteria happened in March of 2020.
So, look at us, unvaccinated, and look at where we're at. I mean, the facts are there. I mean, we're freaking doing great.
The winter of death is upon us.
I was going to say, and then during COVID, that winter snowstorm that we had, we still survived. It's a survival. And I thought when this COVID came out, essentially, I don't like to say this, but I thought it was going to bring out the weak, and it only made the weak stronger. Yeah. And I didn't like that. And I'm like, now the weak are stronger now, and the strong are just still in the silence. I think the strong have to come out and say, we got to push this shit aside and say, all right, we got to make this stuff work, because essentially the weak is making us weak and weak. Because I went off of that thing of, during, tough times creates weak man, and weak man creates strong times or something like that.
No, so it's tough times. So it's strong men create weak times create strong men create good times or something.
And then good times create weak men.
Yeah. Good times create weak men.
And the cycle goes, and the cycle's getting fucked up. And I think what essentially is guys like us need to hold on to that good times. And then, good moments and stuff. We need to hold that.
Yeah.
Because we think about it, when we go through like our father's times and stuff, and they got the video camera, and there's presents underneath the tree, and people are laughing and going on. Those are the 90s, the 80s and stuff. And we need to find that, configuration of no matter what's going on, we still find happiness. Now it's no matter what we find, we have to find darkness, we have to find sadness, we have to find murder, we have to find this. We have to find something. New Year's Eve. It's like as a kid, New Year's Eve was supposed to be like, this is perfect, this is great. Now it's, what's the shooting? What's the stabbing? What's this? What's that? 4th of July, what's this? What's that? Are we going to wear masks? We can't have that anymore. We have to express ourselves, and we're Americans. This is great. We have to express ourselves, Even if we have an LGBT parade or something like that, we have it one day. We have to express ourselves in a matter of, we have to be happy about it. And so we have to be happy. We have to be, tough about it.
You ain't here? They're actually starting the next one at your house. Yeah, they're having a little brunch at your house.
I was gonna say, I don't think my dad's
starting. They're starting the parade.
We got a lot of property, but if something, my dad saw a rainbow float going by, I think he'd be scratching his head, going, I don't know. I don't know.
What's it called? Yeah, dude, fucking.
But what? At the same, he'd be like, let me think about this. Is it okay? But at the same time, he'd be like,
No, I agree with you, dude. We need to get back to the good times. I think there's a lot of things that need to happen. I think men need to be a lot stronger, both mentally and physically. I think a lot. I look at it, dude. I love the kids that I work with, but I don't even know if they listen. But I'm sorry, I'm not gonna fucking care if I offend you. Like, what, dude? Literally, it can't be.
Hours.
Yeah, right. I cannot be the only one in the restaurant as a guy who actually fucking is physically capable. Like when you're trying to lift shit and you're telling me. And you were the ones that asked to do it, and you're busting my balls, being like, oh, why are you behind? You're the one that should know, motherfucker. Why the fuck aren't you in the gym? Why the fuck are you incapable of fucking picking up a heavy object, dude?
See, now
what the fuck in the gym?
I see that. So as I've been a perspective on leadership and stuff, and it's tough to have a leadership position and be in the position now because I see it a lot as as leaders all three of us do our job, and people think that they're like, wow, this guy's a fucking hero, he does his job. But essentially it's like we're not heroes, we just do our jobs. But when you go above and beyond and stuff, and then the bosses recognize that, and then everybody goes, oh, you're just a teacher's pet. It's like, no, dude, motherfucker, I just do my job. That's what it is. And I've gotten to this position. Now when people get to that position, the supervisor's position, they tend to like say, okay, I have total control over everything, and they don't have that leadership position and whatnot, or leadership experience and stuff. It's more of a relating kind of thing, because I've gone through numerous discussions about, somebody being in a leadership position and going, okay, I've gotten to this point. How do I lead others? In today's day and age, it's very hard because you have a lot of diversity. And how do you lead people when he, she is not a real thing anymore? Pronouns or now they, them, gender isn't a real thing anymore. So how do you lead that? And it's
just don't care.
You have to, because in order to gain trust, you have to gain trust among. That's the first thing to do, is to lead people, is to gain their trust, and you want to get on their level. And it's so tough. And unfortunately, the government has now gained this grounds of you have to accept it, and you don't necessarily have to accept it, but you have to entertain it. There's a difference between entertaining something and accepting something. I entertain, Lauren's, my fiance's, dramatic freaking crying, all this stuff because she didn't get her way. But I have to. Don Shoemaker's like, I know, but there's a difference between, I have to entertain that, but there's acceptance of, hey, she's wanted to do something, I have to accept that, and we have to go on and accept that and move forward with our lives for the both of us. So there's an acceptance between that. When somebody goes, I'm not getting my way, and you're not doing this way. It's like, hold on, time out, bro. What did you do in order for me to gain that ground? Oh, well, I showed up on time. I stocked the shelves. What's your job? I stock shelves. Well, you did your job? Yeah. Well, nah, time out, bro. That's not how that goes, man. John over here showed up on time, stocked shelves, went in the back, organized everything, cleaned up. He also cleaned the toilets. I asked you 2 weeks ago to clean the toilets. That's another thing, too, is that when I'm a leader, I keep track of everything. Okay, hey, Matt, I want to take off. Okay, you want to take off? Hey, good to go. Okay, John took off on this. I keep track. So when the guy goes, hey, man, I need to take off. Hey, John, you took off 5 times in a row already. No, I didn't. Well, I did. I kept track of it. That's the thing you need to do, is hold everybody accountable.
Yeah.
And that's a big word today. 2023, the word accountable should be 2023 with the ball dropping, and at the bottom of the ball should say accountability.
Yeah, it should.
Because there's no such thing as that anymore.
No, there isn't.
Accountability is out the fucking window.
Dude, people are so scared to just admit when they made a mistake, dude.
And that's humility. I made a mistake.
I
was like, if I made a mistake, it was like, shit. If I've gone drunk or something like that, or I crashed a party. It's like, dude, you did it. And the second somebody says you did it, and you go, I know I did, and they're like, you admitted to it?
Yeah,
crap, and you, for some reason you admit to something, your credibility goes up,
dude,
rather than goes down.
100%.
So get this. Imagine if the fucking, the people in charge right now came out and said, look, guys, we fucked up.
The respect.
The vaccine wasn't what we thought it was. The virus wasn't what we thought it was. Like, we told you guys some shit that, like, look, like, a lot of the stuff we said was wrong. Like, I'm sorry. I'm taking ownership of this as your leader. But here's what we're gonna do going forward. And I need you guys to be behind me because, I want the best for this country. I want the best for you guys. Will you get behind me? Fucking everybody in the country will get behind you, but it's not that way.
No, it's not.
It's not about that.
No, it's not about that. Exactly. But at the same time, and I see what you're saying, it needs to be done in the beginning. Like, right when the fuck up happens, you need to admit it. Because now, if they were to do that now in 2023, because
it's too late now.
It's too late, exactly.
Now. But I'm saying this should have been done before.
Oh, for sure. Because there are people who were saying, who were like, there's like some officials who come out when they were saying that you shouldn't, if you're unvaccinated, you shouldn't be part of society. And now they're saying, oh, the vaccine's bad. Yeah, because you're fucking caught and you're about to be fucking tried for crimes against humanity. Now, if they did it in 2020 and, all the facts came out from the doctors who were being censored, by the way, saying that, oh, actually, it's not that bad if you just take therapeutics way in the beginning, and if you don't have 3 comorbidities, you're fine. And then the government at that point was like, hey, guys, like you said, we fucked up. Hey, man, respect. But you waited 3 years, bro. But I see what you're saying. Hold yourself accountable. If they did it right away, yeah, dude, okay, let's rectify this. Let's fucking move on. Thank you for fucking holding yourself accountable. It has to be immediate.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing today is nobody's held accountable for their actions. Nobody. I mean, it's a tough. I'm glad the Idaho murder is finally on trial now.
I
and
didn't.
that's-
I haven't even been following that.
Yeah.
That was tough. For the longest time, I thought it was a suicide. I thought somebody had killed everybody and then killed himself, and they couldn't find a murder weapon. He had either dived it into his body or something like that. But finally, it came out. But there's no accountability anymore. I could punch Don Shoemaker in the face, and if you like me, you could be like, I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
And there's no accountability to it. Or I punched Joe in the face, and Don's like, yeah, I saw he just fucking nicked him. It wasn't even a punch. And it's a narrative.
Dude, at this point,
and that's
yeah. What's up?
no, go ahead. Yeah.
No, and that's.
And I was gonna say that's the narrative that you have to pursue.
Yeah.
Is who you have on your back and stuff. And when you win the House and you win the Senate, your narrative, anything you can make a whole nother 9/11, and everybody would be like, oh yeah, this is fucking, this is what we need to do, and this is what we do. Well, COVID, that's what everybody was like. We need to fucking, lock everything down, wear a mask and stuff. And then 2 years later, 3 years later, people who haven't been vaccinated and who still have, stores and stuff are like, now what? And they're like, oh my God, we didn't, all this other crap,
Yeah, no, for sure. Dude, I was gonna say, actually I forgot what I was gonna say, but the narrative. No, like, yeah, you were saying about like punching in the face, right?
Yeah.
Dude, it's to the point now where some people just rely too much on the media to the point where like, you could punch me in the face, Don can see it, and then they could be like, oh my God, Matt punched Joe in the face, but then the news will come out and be like, why Matt didn't actually punch Joe in the face? No, like the fact check, and then people there are people that Don.
But now
be like,
Don's
oh,
the
no.
media. So if me and you were going at now, Don's the media going, man punched man brutally in the face in critical condition.
No, that's where you're wrong. It would be white male.
Oh, that's right.
White male punches Italian immigrants.
Hard-working class man.
Yeah.
White male,
innocent,
white.
unarmed.
I forgot you gotta add the race.
White male smashed Italian immigrants pasta on the floor.
It was so
something crazy like that, because all those headlines were all skewed.
I had went to Quantico, Virginia for the Marine Corps Museum for the Marine Corps birthday, my father and I. And I went from the 1700s to 1771, and the evolution of the Marine Corps and how they were founded and stuff, and the evolution of military time and all this other stuff. And I'm reading, Medal of Honor recipients, and I'm reading wars, and I'm reading all this tactics and stuff, and from Vietnam to freaking Cold War to OEF, and all this other stuff. These placards that were in the museum never stated a white male from Minnesota, PFC, blase. It just said PFC this.
Yeah.
It said PFC Yokomana, whatever it is. It said PFC Johnson, blase. It never said anything about race and everything about color. It was all, we're in this together. This is what it is, and we're in this fight. But the evolution from 1771 to now, not a single race was, mentioned. Not a single controversy was mentioned. It was a big fight, and everybody had the same mentality, and every single war was won.
Yeah, that's it.
Because they all have the same mentalities. We're fighting for each other.
Yes.
And I think now we have lost that connection. So how do you obtain that connection? How do you find that connection, not necessarily spiritually, but how do you find to say, hey, this man to the left and to the right of me has the same mindset of, we need democracy, okay? But, not necessarily have the same views. Because democracy is overall, same views and different views are within the democracy, right? Because you want to vote on things. That's what makes our country so great. We have democracy. So how do you obtain that? Because we don't have democracy anymore. We've seen that. Pennsylvania, and all these other states.
How do we get unified, is what you're saying?
Not necessarily unified. How do we find democracy again? Because we don't have that in America.
Dude, we gotta just start telling the truth. Like,
so you sense the truth in that, but how do you find it?
No, like you just see, like, for example, if I'm being told right now, like if I'm in my apartment and I see a story and the story says, do not go outside. Anywhere in New Jersey, do not go outside. It is raining tanks and bombs. and I look outside and it's a clear blue sky and I decide to not go outside because the news told me to go outside, that's the problem.
Yeah.
We just need to fucking realize, like, what's the truth? Well, what is it? When Dr. Fauci is being fucking asked about his gain-of-function research via his fucking email saying how he funded gain-of-function research, and his response is, people, like, as per the law, I don't need to disclose my financial situation. Just fucking put the fucking two together.
Yeah.
He fucking funded it. Like,
gotta read between the lines.
yeah, the thing is, you just gotta see what it is, dude. If I'm saying that climate change is a problem, but then I'm flying in a private jet causing pollution to go to speak about how climate change is a problem, that's bullshit.
Somebody goes to me, they're like, "Are you a vegan?" I go, "I'm not a vegan. I fucking eat meat. I fucking love meat. I love meat. I love fucking red meat. I love sizzling on the fucking grill." Somebody's like, "Oh, you can't do that." I go, "Well, all your shit that's coming over on a fucking, plane, it's the same thing. They're polluting the fucking air. All that shit that you have coming in, that non-GMO shit and all that fucking manufactured shit, it's all coming over on a fucking plane somewhere in the United States and stuff. My shit is grass-fed, born in America, fucking fed, grass-fed shit. I'm just chopping them up and eating them. That's all I got to do." And we've done that for numerous of fucking years.
Bro,
and you have to tell me now that I have to change my...
Centuries,
any vegans and vegetarians I know, they've never pushed that on me.
No.
That's not fair. I've had people
they want
who
to
pushed
do that.
it.
That's
no,
fine.
I don't give a fuck if you're a vegan or a vegetarian. Do your fucking thing, because actually the ones I know, they're not the ones saying that cow farts are fucking deodorant.
They don't give a shit.
They don't really give a shit. Yeah.
My boxing instructor, great guy. He's not even my instructor anymore. He's my mentor now. I see him as my mentor now. He's vegan. He all this other stuff. He never pushes on me. He just tells me what it is. He's a very healthy guy and all that stuff. But that's what it is. We have our differences, but we work together. It's like it's fucking weird.
Dude, that's life.
If a Democrat came into that plane, his head would explode. They're like, "You guys agree on things?" It's fucking weird. He's not a liberal, but he's just had different views.
No, dude, it's just like we are all like. The media is actually a very small percentage of what people think. Like, they just have the loudest voice, right?
Yeah.
They have the loudest voice, so we think that everything that they're saying is all around the world. Dude, 90% of us don't give a flying fuck who you fuck. 90% of us don't fucking care what color you are, what you decide to eat. Dude, as long as you're just not fucking with kids, that's like literally 90% of us just don't give a fuck. But the media, or killing people, exactly. But like fucking the media portrays it so when you see all this shit about race, and that's why they put black. Well, they won't put black if something's wrong, because God forbid, right? But they'll put white man this, white man that, because they're trying to just put it in the head. And it's like, dude, stop, just like, it's like we said in the beginning, the very beginning of the show, stop fucking shoving it down our throats, bro.
Well,
we're all one people.
That's what it's gotten to now, as we said before, that it's like, in the beginning we were angry and get frustrated, all that stuff. Now I just laugh at it, because it was like, dude, this is so dumb.
NPC,
I'm
bro.
not
You can't
that,
fucking you cannot believe it, dude. It's ridiculous.
So on a happy note, we have to realize that Disney went woke, and now they're crashing.
They're crashing.
I mean, I gotta love that. I'm a big fan of Disney, but now they're crashing. That's one thing. An example is that you go woke, you're gonna go fucking
broke,
crash.
for sure.
And that's the thing. What DeSantis says: woke comes here to die. And his speech when he was governor, when he became governor during the midterm elections, I had, again, this is an after hours thing. I had a fucking hard on when that guy, his speech, when he went up there after the midterm elections and he was said, "This is where woke goes to die." I was like, I told my fiance, I was like, "We're packing our shit. We're going to fucking Florida. We're going to Florida." I go, not because I'm, just like, I go, "This is where woke goes to die." I go, "This is what I want."
Yeah.
I go, because people could be like, "Yeah, New Jersey, yeah, fucking woke, Sussex County, Warren County, we don't." I go, "Florida, this is where woke goes to die," because I've seen it.
Make America
hardcore
Florida
evidence.
again.
Exactly, yeah. Make America Florida again, not America. Yeah.
NAFA.
That's what it is nowadays. But it's tough. But essentially, I've come to, after reading books and all that other stuff, this world has endured so much. you look at the American flag and you go, wow, that man had 13 stars. Now look at it now.
Yeah.
And this flag, when I'm feeling down, I look at the flag and I go, this flag has endured so much. And I've seen the flag at Iwo Jima, I've seen the flag everywhere, and I go, this flag has endured, and this flag represents everybody in the United States of America, and we have endured so much.
Yeah, it's true.
And we can overcome everything.
Yeah.
We just have to do it.
Yep.
And there's a majority of people who are fighting for it right now that are behind the scenes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Pattons, there's a lot of, General Mattis's, there's a lot of, politicians, and there's a lot of military generals that are behind the scenes that we don't see because the media doesn't want to show that. But essentially, we're in good hands. I know we're in good hands. I get frustrated, I get mad, but essentially, we're in good hands. I saw Biden become president, I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, the military is going to take control over this man or whatever it is. And sure enough, Milley had failed. But at the same end, the Republican Party, Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, they all held themselves. They all held to, a higher standard and uphold the Republican side of the Senate stuff. So, and the Congress. So essentially, I see that, there is a goal being achieved within all this stuff.
Yeah, I always say too, like, in the end, I think the people win. And that's not like Republican, but just the people. I think
The
we're
people
gonna
do
fucking-
win.
I think the people are
win,
going to
yeah.
win. I think good always wins. I know it seems hard, but I think good is always going to win.
Yeah,
And I don't know how it's going to get done, but it's going to get done. That's it. You just like, I don't know how. Like, it's
Yeah.
like when you're starting something. I don't know how we're going to make it here, but we're going to make it here.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Got any questions for today?
Dude, let's move on to the question time.
Questions.
All right, we need music for this, dude.
Yeah, yeah, we do.
So question time. We do have a couple good questions here. We have 3.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I don't know why I'm laughing. First question. How do you feel, well, Corey, thank you for the question. How do you feels about separating art from the artist? Example, listening to Kanye, R. Kelly, Kevin Spacey, or like seeing Kevin Spacey movies.
I think you have to separate the art from the artist, because I think you might disagree with somebody, but it might be a really good piece of art, and you got to appreciate that really good creative piece of art, and kind of separate that from who made it. That's what I think.
Cool.
So the Kevin Spacey thing, you talk about Kevin Spacey as the actor,
The
right?
actor, yeah. He
As
got
in-
accused of, I think it was raping that little boy or something, sexual assault on a little
Sexual
boy.
harassment.
Harassment, sorry,
and
not rape,
whatnot.
yeah.
So,
Fake
and
news.
the question is, how do you
separate the art from the art? So when you see it, because Kevin Spacey's a phenomenal actor, so then how do
he's
you
a phenomenal actor, but one thing could,
Piece of shit, yeah.
piece of shit. So, if the facts are there and the evidence are there that he did sexual harassment, then his career goes up the drain.
Yeah.
Pretty
No.
simple.
Yeah. Exactly. Now, I like it more so like, hey, you separate. Basically, you just look at it and you say, okay, well, what they did, if the facts come out and they get accused of it and they get convicted, okay, they're a bad person, but it doesn't mean that you can't now like the fucking. I mean, I don't know, like for example, R. Kelly with his underage, I think it was underage girls, right? Peeing on underage girls or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Does he have songs out? Yeah, okay. If you're gonna listen to the song, does that make you a bad person?
No,
But
I mean,
you definitely, like, because you were listening to the songs before it happened and now it happens, so it's like, oh, okay, well, he has good songs, but he's a piece of shit human being. Now at the same time, Kanye, dude, I don't know what Kanye's plot is. I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend to know. He's just a clout
You
king.
take in perspective that Kevin Spacey is a piece of shit, but House of Cards, I fucking
Yeah,
love that TV.
yeah, exactly.
That
That
series,
was a documentary.
that TV series is phenomenal.
Yep.
That was a documentary.
Yep.
I mean, that was a great. I get what you're saying with the documentary, but Kevin Spacey, like I said, he's a piece of. Whether he is or not, I don't know about it, but I never dove into it. But that's the thing. The actor is the actor, but the show is a show. I like the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then also
That's
the
what
thing
it
too
is.
is like, as long as you're not doing something insanely, like, as long as you're not hurting anybody, right? You think about it. We said it like when I asked you before, how many of us are perfect? Like, no one's perfect. We all have our
Nobody.
demons. We all have our secrets. We've all made choices that we regret, mistakes,
Absolutely.
right? But it's like, okay, so as long as you're not like these Epstein people where you're fucking killing people and fucking suiciding them and fucking raping little people, little kids, like, you gotta separate it. You
You have your
admire the
morals
art.
and your values and stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
You can admire the art,
Absolutely.
It's up to you. Good question, really, Corey. That was a really
Absolutely.
solid question. You can't, Brandon. If someone were to start working out, what do you suggest the best month to do that is? I'll start off with this one now. And I mean, if you're listening to this like now in January, I don't mean January because we're recording January. Let's just say you're listening to this in March. Now, if you want to start working out, now is the time.
Yeah, the soonest time you can possibly get to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever month you're in right now is the best month.
Yep.
Period.
How about you?
I would say that whatever you're feeling, whatever you feel like you got to do. There's a mindset to working out. There's absolutely a mindset. You have to have a direction and a purpose to working out, whether it be something that's distracting you, whatever it is. But you'll find it. You'll find it. Whether you find it now or later, you'll find it.
Fuck yeah.
And that's your time to work out.
Yeah, and I think it's scalable too. Sometimes you think, oh, I'm working out. I gotta run 5 miles a day. I gotta bodybuild. I gotta go do jujitsu. I gotta do all this and that. If you're not doing anything right now, you could start out with walking to the end of the driveway, and then tomorrow walking a little bit more, and just like take those small baby steps.
It was so weird because I'd gone out of the military and I was down in like a dark area and stuff, and I was finding a lot of Don's stuff that he was posting and whatnot. And I'm like, it was more of a like and scroll past, and it was like a like and scroll past. But now it was let me listen to it, and now I'm like, wow, I'm invested into it, and stuff. And he had started into it, and then eventually I had finally got into that mindset of let me go to the gym and let me finally get involved and stuff. And essentially that's how I got into the boxing. That's how I started into the Instagram page and stuff.
Cool,
no,
man.
Seriously, it was, and I told him a while ago and stuff. And that's how, it's more of a mindset of when you're ready to do it, and you don't want anybody to push you onto it. And but like you said, it's now is the time to start.
Yes.
So if it's now is the time to start, start it now. But if you think you need to start next week, start next week. But you need to start it eventually. You have a purpose and an execution goal to achieve that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Like
Stuff,
that,
man.
Yeah.
We have one more question, and it's from the famous Anthony Bongiovanni. But I guess Anthony, great question. I love this. I personally love this question, but I think you definitely are being nice to us. You have a 4-car garage. What 4 cars are you putting in there? It's a solid question.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Start with you, Don.
4 cars. I'm going Corvette, Stingray. Always loved Corvettes. 70 Chevelle, definitely. I'm going. Oh shit! Those are the two ones I really want. Damn. Let's see. Probably a Range Rover because I need an SUV, so I'm good in the snow. They're pretty sweet. And dude, I gotta get a Lamborghini in there.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So since I'm getting married, I need to take. So all 4 of them are probably gone. But if I need to take 3 of them, or 1 of them at least, I'm gonna make a man cave out of 1 of them. 2 of them is gonna be maybe a truck. 3 of them, or the 3rd one is probably gonna be one of my fiance's cars or whatever, and a 4th one is probably gonna be another fiance, vehicle or something like that. But
Nice.
no, but essentially you got to make yourself happiness into all that stuff. But I'm definitely gonna get a man cave.
Yeah, for sure.
Into one of them.
Absolutely.
A bar or
Yeah.
something.
Fuck yeah. Lamborghini Aventador, Lamborghini Huracan, Ferraris, Enzo FXX, and McLaren F1.
Dude, I love that you know the 4. Like,
Fuck yeah, dude.
He just rattled off
see
a
him in your
bunch
head
of
right now.
Oh,
man.
He
bro,
knew.
dude,
He knew.
This guy
Lamborghini
visualizes all.
I
This
know, he
stuff.
knew, he knew.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's how
absolutely.
they're gonna get it.
Fuck
So.
yeah, brother. We're all gonna get it. We're all gonna get it.
I need more than 4 though, because like
That's
now
right,
I'm
yeah.
thinking of like my F-350 that I want.
Bro, I'm
I
thinking,
think
fuck
that'd be
yeah.
badass.
Hell yeah, dude. You kidding me? You gotta put in like you had the nice logical answer. You gotta put in those cars for like, especially when you're on a family. Dude, I'm starting to think like if I had more Pagani Zonda, fucking Koenigsegg, like dude, I'm all about those fucking exotics.
Man, the Rolls Royce is pretty
Yeah.
badass.
See, I'm not
Aston
about that.
Martin,
I
dude.
need a truck. I need a quad. I need a plow. I need all
Yeah.
that stuff. I was just being up in the meadows,
Yeah,
man.
no, it's true. I mean, dude, I want
Depending
all
where you're living. If
I
I was
want all
living
that
down
shit.
south, like Florida,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going all out.
Yeah.
I need to find the extravagant, all that stuff. But
See,
I think maybe I'm gonna get enough money, get a tank. Fuck it.
right? I want all them cars, but I also want like the jet ski, the side by side, the quads, the dirt bikes.
Yeah.
I want all the.
Now is that 4-car garage? Is that 2-car garage and 2 attached?
No, I think he's just I don't know.
4
Just,
attached.
I mean, he just
That's
says you have a
what I'm saying.
4-car
You
garage,
never
yeah.
know.
You never know.
But yeah, no, that's what I'd have in there. Yeah, definitely the '70s Chevelle, man. That's like
for sure.
Oh man, that's my dream car. My dad had one back in the day. I think he had a '68 or a '69, but the '70 Chevelle is just like,
Right there.
oh man, that's my dream car for sure, for sure.
Fuck yeah, baby.
So,
Sexy one.
but yeah, man. Any more questions?
No,
that's it. That's it.
Thank you for your questions, guys. You always kill it. Thank you for finally giving us one we can answer. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Your questions are solid. Keep the hard questions up. I love this question. We were finally able to answer it.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So, Matt, any final questions for the show, brother? Or, I'm sorry, final thoughts.
Final
Not
thoughts to
questions.
it. No, it was,
Any thoughts?
it's
for
been
the show?
nothing but a pleasure with you guys. I mean, like I said, it's a very relaxed environment. You guys are growing bigger and bigger, and I can't wait to see what you guys do in another year. Not even another 5 years, another year, another 6 months or something like that. You guys are growing. I'm honored to be here for the second time, and I'm looking forward to the future with you guys.
Appreciate it, man.
So, absolutely.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And there will be a third episode.
Hopefully.
You flow. You flow real well,
Yeah.
dude. You know how to fucking do it.
I got tons of stories. We all got tons of
Yeah.
stories. Yeah.
He does really good segues, man.
He does,
You have
bro.
to hire him on.
Bro, you segued into the PI thing.
He did, that's perfect.
Like,
Perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
God.
good. It's good. I'm happy to be here. It's like I said. It's a comfortability spot. You know, I come here and I sit down and have a drink of water, or a glass of bourbon, and it's just you just feel comfortable.
Awesome.
Fuck yeah, man. Well,
It's
we
great.
appreciate
Appreciate it,
that.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. Well, guys, that's